Hello. Hello. Hey everybody, happy Monday. You're very welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. And tonight we have part 7 of our ATC IFR course. Tonight we're going to be doing some international flights. Taking off out of the United Kingdom, we're going to be flying back to Dublin. And we have two groups, just as we had last week and the week before. What we're going to be doing is a flight for Group A, departing out of Edinburgh, and Group B will be departing out of Bristol, right? And we're all rambling over to Dublin, and our runway of choice in Dublin is going to be that of 10 right. So there's a couple of new things getting thrown at us this evening. But the plan is it'll be grand, right? Right. We do have ATC up and running. We're going to be tower on Edinburgh. We'll have tower on Bristol. We'll have approach at Dublin, and then we'll have tower at Dublin as well. And the idea behind tonight, it's to leave the script to one side. This is all about practicing as we start approaching our main event over on VATSIM. So there's a couple of things we need to make sure we have set up and ready to rock, mainly over on our NOTAMs page and also on the ground school document. So we need to check all these out here now in a moment or two. So I'd like to welcome everyone in. Right, I had a mad week. Good news, the Skoda, brilliant. I got a text message earlier on, the Skoda has been repaired, friends. Yes, and I should be back in action driving tomorrow, and I bought an oven, which will be here on Wednesday. I've been very productive, right? But anyway, we'll get into it and welcome people in. To everyone on YouTube and on Twitch, you're both very welcome along, all two of you. You're looking well. Did you do something with your eyebrows? You look great. But anyway, Devil Dude is here. Englewood rambles in. Muse fan. Good to see you. 37 months tier. Chase me hand. Tier 3 Muse. Thank you very much indeed. Madness, we say. Now, let me see. Airlock Doc is in the house. Good to see you. Baldrick, welcome in. Liptorius. Happy Monday. Super Ty. Good to see you, man. The C-130, he says, may have seen some improvements, but is it enough to escape the scam status? So Captain Sim released the C-130. We'll be checking it out again on Wednesday, but I would say potentially a step in a strange direction. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Hangar Studios, good to see you. Martell is in the house. Gibbo Ireland, welcome in, Gibbo. Let me see now. Bell Bro, happy Monday. David Bay is here. Get well soon, my dude. Get well soon. Rambog Mord, you're very welcome aboard. That totally rhymed. I'm a poet, and he didn't know it. Brilliant, right? Devil Dude, good to see you. Eamon 1973, 34 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Great to see you. Now, Spitfire RAF 100 rambles in. Soaring AJ. AJH, man. Good to see you. Echo Tango is here. Welcome aboard. Viper Strike is in the chat. Hemming Bird. My postman told me he was going to Spain today. I asked if he was going to Barcelona. He completely ignored the joke. Maybe he didn't get it. Postie jokes are all about the delivery. Right, brilliant. Welcome in, great to see you. Now, Corn Wolf, welcome in. Quaggy is in the house. 30 months, Quaggy. Thank you very much indeed, my guy. Hope you're well. Quasar Core, good to see you. Dougal McTavish, the chairman, has rambled in. Good to see you, man. Sterling is in the house. Tarmo 10k, good to see you. Now, let me see, we're catching up. We're doing well tonight. Din O'Reilly, welcome in. Shirley Dev, happy Monday. Hope all is well. Larger Life, welcome aboard. Now, let me see. It's catching up here at 8 knots. This is brilliant crack. Aviation is life. Hello from Norway. Hello from Tipperary. I hope you're well, man. Durka is here. What's happening, man? I'm coming to Ireland on Thursday for a few days. Oh, good man. Durka, drop us an old message if you're over my neck of the woods somewhere, or if I'm up. Do you know what I mean? I'll point you in the right direction of nice pintage. Right, I'm sure you know the crack yourself. But yeah, dude, if you're here, awesome, right? What's the weather to be like? I'm almost certain it's to be dry. It's to get a little bit colder, though. Do you know what I mean? Cork and Killarney and Dublin. Oh, Jesus, very nice. When you get to Cork, you need a pint of Beamish, right? And then when you're in Kerry and Killarney, pint of Guinness. And then in Dublin, Guinness, right? But try Beamish. It's not half bad. Or Murphy's, you know, pint of Murphy's, right? Meanwhile, Gibbo's throwing things at the telly. He's in the bush. Good to see you, man. Toto has rambled in. You're all looking mighty, lads. Welcome in. Hope you're all keeping very well. And I'm going to go to a different screen for the dramatic effect. Jesus. I need to fix that wire because it keeps making noises, right? So here's me Hardy plane. I'm in flight already. I'm telling you, lads, I'm ahead of the posse tonight. But what I need to show you before we get started is this. Yes, we have some new information. What we're going to be doing tonight, right? You made it to the Brewmaster in Killarney Brewing. Oh, nice. That's deadly. Fair play, fair play. That's the noise of me jet. I was wondering what it was. Slew mode engage. No, it's not slew mode epic. I've been actually flying the thing, but all is well in the house. Adam is here as well. Lee Dixon, good to see you. Welcome in, everyone. So for tonight, lads, the NOTAMs page first, all right? So this is where we keep all the information relative to the course, but also each week, keep an eye on the NOTAMs page because we update things. So we have a NOTAM. It's effective for lesson 7. This is lesson 7, right? Josh is here as well. Good to see you, man. So tonight's lesson will feature 2 groups, Group A and Group B. We'll try and keep the airliners in Group A and general aviation, including a Vision Jet, into Group B. It's all just to do with spacing. So joining the ATC Lounge and Discord and get yourself loaded into Echo Golf Papa Hotel in about 30 minutes. That's for Group A. Right? Get yourself loaded in and into the ATC Lounge on Discord. And remember not to spawn in on top of anyone. Group B, we're going to get you to jump in at around in an hour and 20 minutes. And that'll be jumping into the ATC Lounge and load into Bristol. And that's the plan there. We're going to be using fixed weather tonight, just like last week. And we can see the different METARs for the 3 different airports. So we have Edinburgh, we have Bristol, and we have Dublin. And the reason why we're fixing these, it's only because I won't say, well, there's a little bit of a limitation with our solution when it comes to our scope, our radar control. There's only so much information we can pull out of the sim. And of course, I need to be able to pre-plan the stuff. Hence, we're going with fixed weather. You won't have this when it comes to our VATSIM flights. It'll be whatever is thrown at us on the night. All right. We also have 2 posted routes. So your flight plan will be departures out of Edinburgh on runway 06 and Bristol on runway 09er, and they're going to include a SID, they're going to include waypoints, and they're going to include a star. Both stars will lead you to runway 10 right in Dublin. However, we must talk to ATC prior to us getting there. So, briefly, I'm going to show you roughly where I need you guys to contact Dublin approach. You'll be talking to the tower frequencies for Bristol or Edinburgh, depending on your group. You'll be chatting to those anyway. Right. However, once we're on approach for Group A, so the Group A lads, you're going to be calling up ATC when you are roughly 10 miles away from NIMAT. Roughly 10 miles away from NIMAT. And at that stage, we'll want to have you descending on UNICOM. So you'll have to announce on UNICOM your position, what you are, where you are, and what are you doing. All right. And then by the time you call up Dublin approach, about 10 miles away from NIMAT for Group A, the call will be Dublin approach, Firefly Air, whatever, or Firefly, whatever your number is, your current altitude, so you might say flight level 180, descending flight level 160, 10 miles north, NIMAT, information, Bravo, Echo, Juliet, whatever information Echo or information is current in Dublin. And you can also give a shout and let them know the arrival, the NIMA 2 Romeo, or something like that, right? The guys coming up from Bristol will have something similar, but your call will be at probably your about 10 miles before your initial approach fix. I'll show you when we're doing that, all right? Now, what we're expecting something different tonight. Tonight, we're aiming to be as close as we can. As close as we can. Zybok Doc, thank you very much indeed. Twitch Prime for 21 months. God almighty. Cheers, man. What we're trying to do tonight is simulate VATSIM in its rawest state. What I mean by that is, it is more than likely you will receive vectors from ATC. Dublin approach will be looking after the spacing, the movement, your speed, your altitude, and your direction. You could expect to get direct twos. You might get a bearing or a heading, right? And you also might get a change of altitude. The importance tonight, lads, the absolute importance, figure out and understand what ATC are asking you to do it, and then read back the full instruction as best as you possibly can. As best as you can. And remember, your spacing is important. We've already learned if we all bunch up, we give ATC an issue, well, they're going to have to react quick. So just remember your spacing, all right? So if you feel like, you know, it's getting ahead of you, don't panic. The last thing we want is panic, right? Make sure you have a bit of paper and a pen. Write down the information. You got to write it down. It's important. So the approaches we're doing with Dublin Approach online tonight, the controller who we have is Josh, and Josh is a VATSIM controller who usually looks after Dublin Approach. The frequencies, 121.1 is Dublin Approach. Then we'll need to talk to Dublin Tower. Again, with the script or with the ground school document, I haven't put in the full script. And the reason being is, well, you are getting there, right? You are absolutely getting there. So if we ramble down here to lesson number 7, well, you might have copped it. But Janie, it's not very big, right? So lesson 7, we're going to see a change of plan, 2 different departures out of the UK. Expect vectors. This is important. ATC are going to be chatting to us, right? ATC coverage, as I said, we have Gibbo and Rambog looking after the UK airports, right? Brilliant. They even have to put on an accent. Gibbo's wearing a kilt. But anyway, the lesson itself, well, planning our flight, filing our flight plan, the weather, again, there's the METARs, the routes, make sure you copy down these routes. We're going to fly it, then we review it. The stages, instead of having all the information of what exactly to say and how to say it, it's going to give you pointers, yeah? It's very drafty. It's going to give you a pointer. So stage 1, you get your ATIS. Stage 2, you contact ATC and you request clearance. Remember craft. Clearance, route, altitude, frequency, transponder. Then you're going to get pushback, startup, taxi, takeoff, departure, en route, approach, landing. So it's not as bad as you think. I mean, you're only doing these things. Most importantly, listen to what ATC is asking you what to do. Be sure you know how to do it, as in turn heading, turn left heading, turn right heading, decel or descend. Be careful of the wording. Slow down. If you're unsure, you can always say again. All the voice procedure is done on our Discord. All right. And that's kind of the gist of it. Also, make sure you file a flight plan. We cannot see it until you file a flight plan. So all you have to do, you go to file a flight plan, put in your call sign, your aircraft type, you know the details what to put in, and then we submit it, and then you'll appear on the scope. All right? Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do, I'm starting first to give you an idea. So I am in me Boeing 737-800, and I'm about 30 miles away from NIMAT. I'm about 30 miles. And how I can see that, lads, well, I'm using the aircraft FMS, and if I look down here at my waypoints, I'm 17 miles from Numpy and 12 miles from NIMAT. I'm going to talk to ATC once I get to NIMAT. That's the plan, all right? So if I press this button, no, hang on, lads, I'm going to press some buttons over here now on the corner, and all will be revealed. Right now, I'm going to jump into an ATC channel. So I'm on UNICOM at the moment. And you'll be in UNICOM. Why aren't these buttons working? Well, the curse of the 7th. Oh, Jesus. Hang on, lads. I need to do a bit of technical jiggery-pokery. Why aren't these working? Bear with me now. All is well in the realm until it suddenly isn't. Let me see. Title. Push to talk. Voice input. Why aren't these working? Stupid things. I had one job and it's already broken. And my phone is ringing. Go away, phone that's ringing. Right? You can also insert a fixed 10-mile radius as a reminder. You can, of course. Yes. Again, I'm not going to get too involved when it comes to the technical wizardry of the FMS or your MacDo. You know, we're hoping that you guys know how to operate these. But the main thing is make sure you're talking to ATC prior to NIMAT at roughly 10 miles. At 10 miles, you also want to be descending. You want to get down the road a little bit. Otherwise, they're going to have to, do all sorts of stuff. And also then, if possible, ATC have requested, if possible, remember, you're the pilot in command, this is what you're going to try and do. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Try and vacate the runway once we land safely at Dublin at Sierra 2. Sierra 2 is here. We're coming in on 10 right. They're hoping we can exit at Sierra 2. That's going to make their life a little bit easier. If we don't, that might impact the spacing. That might create some go-arounds and missed approaches and all this jazz. So if possible, we're aiming for Sierra 2. If there's a mistake and you're not able, grand. Don't worry about it. But on VATSIM, again, you want to do as much as you can to help the controller, as much as you can. All right, as much as you can. Mickey Ozzy, good to see you. Don't worry, all these videos are recorded, gives you guys plenty of time to try them back. And once, as I said, we're at a certain level, we're all comfortable doing what we're doing, well, we should be grand and tickety-boo, right? Grand and tickety-boo. Now, why aren't these stupid buttons working? How does this work now? Discord, yes. So we're going to say toggle input mode, right? Hang on now. So we're going to say, Jesus, voice input toggle mode. Right, now let's see. It's still not working. What's happening with my Discord, lads? User settings. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking all the time, and that's going to wreck people's heads. Input is chat, output is chat. Yes, that's all correct. Voice activity or push to talk. So it's push to talk on Discord. How does this work now? So if that's push to talk, can I use that? No. Stupid thing. There's always something, isn't there? I mean, you literally don't touch anything, and then you touch something, and it all breaks. I'll just restart
studies,
this.
you know, 60% of the time, it works every time.
We have our first delay for the night. This is brilliant. Now, is this going to work now? Of course, it's James Street in it. Hang on, I'm going to kill Discord, right? Hang on, lads. Kill that. And because if this doesn't work, I can't really do what I need to do. You know what I mean? Let's see here now. Discord, yeah, good luck to you. And we'll start up again. Right, now, let's see what happens. It can happen to anyone, lads. It can happen to anyone, right? It's brilliant. Now, let me see. Push to talk. Right, now, let's see. Otherwise, I'm going to have a headache doing this. But sure, listen, it'll be grand, right? Unicom. Yes. And listen to ATIS.
Dublin Airport Information Kilo.
Can I get a refund?
1900 Zulu. Wind 140 at 4 knots.
Brilliant. And I will do, let me see, Unicom. And if I press this, yeah, okay, right, grand. The good news is I fixed it. Brilliant. Right, so let's get straight into it. Are we ready, friends? Are we ready? So this will either go well or terribly well, but let's see. So my current standing with the aircraft, I'm at flight level 180 and I need to descend. Right, I need to descend. So I'll bring up the time of day a little bit brighter so I can actually see what I'm doing. So we're going to unpause. And all as well. So now I'm going to talk to Unicom and explain what I'm doing, right? Firefly 235, Boeing 737. 25 miles to the north, NIMAT. Descending flight level 180 to 160. So on Unicom, I've just said, who am I, where am I, you know, and what am I doing? I'm descending, right? So as we approach, I'm trying to get the speed down here in my aircraft, right? So we'll horse out a bit of breakage, and we're going to get ourselves somewhat set up for landing, and we'll be talking to ATC now in a moment. So I want to get down to 160, and speed is going to drop down to about 250 knots. Remember, if you go too fast, things happen more quickly. Now, don't go too slow because you've other people behind you. But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. So I'm currently on Unicom. I've already jumped in and listened to the information at Dublin. Information Kilo is active at the moment, right? And let's have a look in here now. So at the moment, I am about 20 miles away from NIMAT. So once I jump onto this, I'm going to start talking to Dublin Approach. All right? And once I get Dublin Approach on the blower, I need to make sure I'm writing things down. All right. I managed to get back into Active Sky, Roy. I did, yes. It seems to be working okay-ish now, right? Ish. So speed is coming down and we're approaching NIMAT. And remember, lads, don't get too worried. It's all about, you know, writing down what ATC are asking you to do. Understanding, saying, oh yeah, okay, and then read it back as best you can. All right? Tonight we're going to be taking notes ourselves to find out how everyone is doing, right? And if we need to do anything different. The aircraft state at the moment, I'm on LNAV, not VNAV. I'm in control of my altitudes because your flight plan will probably give you 240, right? Rambog negative, do I need to? Oh, I do. Of course I do. What a muppet. Well, I turn on the connector. Don't mind any of this stuff, lads. This is all smoke, mirrors and science, right? Yeah, it's on now, right? So hopefully this will work. Okay, so 2 miles from Numpy, that's 14 miles from NIMAT. Aircraft has slowed, and I'm at a decent altitude. And again, this is all about me making life easier for myself. So reduce the speed to 40. We're finished with the speed brakes. Thank you. And at this stage, I'm going to call up ATC. So we sit and we listen, right? That's Higgy. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so if there's people flying on the Southeast Asian server, if you wouldn't mind terribly, lads, hunker off if you can, just until we do this, all right? So I'm now 10 miles from NIMAT. So here comes my call. Dublin approach, Firefly 235, flight level 160, 10 miles NIMAT, information Kilo, Nima 2 Romeo.
Firefly 235, Dublin approach identified, cleared NIMAT 2 Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend, flight level 100.
Okay, here's my instruction. Cleared the NIMAT 2 Romeo for runway 10 right, descend, flight level 100, Firefly 235.
Firefly 235, after waypoint NIMAT, cleared direct IFBAP.
After waypoint NIMAT, cleared direct IFBAT for Firefly 235. Okay. So after NIMAT, he's after giving us IFBAT. Or IFBAP. There it is there, look. So we're going to need to copy him and throw him up after NIMAT. Goosh. Execute. Now we're going to get our altitude down to flight level 100. That's 10,000 feet. And we're going to V-speed ourselves down. Down you get your devil. And V-speed ourselves down. Keeping an eye on our speed. We're approaching NIMAT. And see the way he's given us a clearance straight to another waypoint. If we open up our navigraph, right, we're now going to bypass all of these guys. He's bringing us straight in to IFBAP. IFBAP. He's bringing us straight in. This will be interesting. All right? And that's what ATC will do, lads. They'll move you around because they're getting full control. They need to space you and make sure that they're keeping the flows right. Okay. So we've now hit NIMAT. We've started our turn to the right. We're on our way now to to IFBAP. And again, if you're unsure of the waypoint names, this is where it gets difficult because where's that waypoint? Check your charts prior to. Get familiar with the different waypoints along the way. Oh, I remember that name. I saw that name.
Firefly 235, descend, flight level 80.
Descend flight level 80, Firefly 235. So he wants to bring us down to 80. Now I can help out things a little bit. Speed so far is looking a little bit fast, so I'm going to slow us down. Remember, once we get under 10,000 feet, we have speed restrictions, speed constraints. So we need to behave, yeah? So spoilers are out. We're descending here probably too sharp for this. We're going to bring it back up to 1,500 feet per minute. And I need to get that speed to drop. So speed is starting to drop now a little bit. Spoilers are already out. Again, I'll adjust my vertical speed, bleed the speed off. And once I get the speed down low enough, I can throw out some flaps just to help with the drag. So our instruction was descend flight level 80. Okay, I'm still direct to IFBAP. And from IFBAP, well, I'm going to get a lot more information. To help me along the way, make sure that your heading indicator is synced to your current heading. Because in a flick of a switch, I can go straight into heading mode and then turn the knob left or right, depending on what ATC need me to do. All right. So we're now descending a little bit more slowly, but I'm trying to get that speed down. And to help me out, I've also reduced my airspeed because there's no point getting all the way there and then being too high. He's asked me to get down to 8,000 feet or flight level 80. Now, if I'm not doing it quick enough, ATC might call back and say, hey, expedite your descent. So I'm trying to control my speed first. Then I'll fix this by adding 1 notch of flap and then start descending a lot faster. All right. So 1 notch of flap coming in. You can see where the constraints are starting to appear in the aircraft. Increase my rate of descent. We'll start bringing the speed down just a little bit. All right. Meanwhile, the Group A pilots, roughly now, you can start Just checking in with the ATC lounge. Start spawning into Edinburgh, right? Make sure you've checked the ATIS, and then you're going to be looking for your clearance. We need clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. Check our vectors, Victor. Cyrus T is in the house. Good to see you, man. Drummer, yeah, superb accent. And lads, this is one thing I have to say about flying on VATSIM. It's listening to all of these amazing accents when you go to different regions. There's nothing off. It's cool, right? You can take off in Dublin, ramble to Edinburgh, go down the road to London, then you're, Paris, right? Out to Rome, and there'll always be a different accent there. It's incredible. So we're approaching 10,000 feet. Rule of thumb, go ahead and get our lights on. We're looking good. So we're at 10,000. I'm going to increase the rate of descent a little bit more. Let's see if we can go flap 2. We might get a ping here. Give it a second. Spoilers are still out.
And Firefly 235 radar contact lost.
One moment. I'll cycle the connector. So, Josh, what you might get, they might appear and reappear. It's a Microsoft thing. It'll disappear us. But if you can't see me, I'll try and help you out. And Firefly 235 re-establishing radar. For your information, I am 20 miles from IFBAP, passing 8,500 for flight level 80.
Firefly 235, that's copied. Descend to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Descend down to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals for Firefly 235. Okay. Lads, you get the gist of it. Yeah, we're trying to help out each other. So the transition level, I think it's around 6,000. We're going to continue our descent. I've set 5,000 into my altitude. We're maintaining a descent profile, right? We're still descending. Keep pushing the nose down. Speed is at 200. And then once we pass our transition level, well, then we're going to...
Firefly 235, be advised, I still don't have a radar return, so report bearing and distance from IFBAP.
Roger, current heading 235 degrees, 16 miles IFBAP. Firefly 235.
Firefly 235, copy, thank you.
So if that happens, lads, because again, our system might just be having a moment, ATC might ask you for position reports. And all we're doing, I'm reading on the map here, my distance to, my heading, yeah, and what I'm doing.
Firefly 235, after IFBAP, cleared direct to Raker.
Where's me pen? After IFBAP, clear direct to, is it Raker? Firefly 235. Raker. After IFBAP, direct to Raker, Firefly 235. So if it's not...
And Firefly 235, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
Descending altitude 4,000 feet, Firefly 235.
And Firefly 235, report overhead waypoint IFBAP.
Will report when overhead IFBAP, Firefly 235. Okay, things are happening fairly quick, so we need to keep an eye on it. We're flying the aircraft, we're approaching IFBAP, and then we need to go direct to Rakkar. So here's Rakkar, we're going to select, type it in, and execute. It's now continuing our route. We need to go now to local Barrow, which is 1014. 4,000 is what ATC wants us to do. Yeah, so Josh doesn't have me on radar, so there's an issue. Rambog, I don't know, can you have a quick look at that? My multiplayer is 100% on. Do I have other aircraft? I have other aircraft on my screen, so it's got to be a connector, right? Maybe, maybe not. So, speed is okay. We're at 200 knots. We're descending now, and I need to let ATC know when I'm overhead IFBAP. And again, this is only happening because we've lost the scope.
Firefly 235, turn left heading 205.
Turn left heading 205, Firefly 235. Now, I'm in the soup. He's controlling me. Now, see what I've done. I changed my heading first, so I can confirm.
Firefly 235, descend to altitude 3,000 feet.
Descend to 3,000 feet, Firefly 235. Down to 3. Again, I'm just doing what ATC are asking me to do. Drop her down. Help me out with the speed. Careful with the brakes. We're going to go 175. We might get flap 5 here. Flap 5, just about. We might get a little bit of giving out to. But again, I want to increase drag. So we're now getting vectored. Vectored, right? As soon as I say, oh, you got them back? Nice, okay. So he's got me back on radar. So I'm descending down to 3,000 feet. Forget about the direct to or otherwise. I've now been given a heading. Put the heading into the heading bug first, then confirm the heading. It just helps you remember, oh yeah, do you know what I mean?
Firefly 235, turn left heading 190 degrees.
Turn left heading 190 degrees, Firefly 235. Okay, 190 is set, right? Speed is coming down. Now, he hasn't told me to decel or worry or any of that jazz, right? So we're bringing the speed down. Get rid of these guys for the minute. Arm the brakes. We're going to need them. Autopilot is still there. Now, lads, what you're seeing is the worst case scenario. Because we lost radar control.
Firefly 235, resume navigation direct to Gannet. From Gannet, clear ILS approach from a 10 right. Report established.
Resume on navigation, direct Gannet from Gannet, cleared for the ILS approach, and will report when established. Firefly 235. Okay.
And Firefly 235, just confirm cleared ILS approach from a 10 right.
Cleared ILS approach, runway 10 right, Firefly 235. Okay, direct Gannet. So check this out. Gannet, put it in there, execute, go back onto nav mode. Very good. So we've resumed our own navigation. I've gone from heading to nav. Yeah? I'm now flying direct to Gannet, and now I need to get established on the localizer. I've already dialed in the ILS frequency into the radio. Weather conditions here are perfect because I can't really see much. I have a visual reference out the door here. So let's see what we're doing. Speed is looking good. Flaps are looking good. Let's go flaps 10. Speed is 170. We're holding at altitude 3,000 feet. And once we get to Gannet, I'm going to put it on approach mode. And then once I'm established, once I see the LOC, then I can give a shout back and say I'm now fully established. I've been cleared for the ILS, so I'm allowed to continue on. And when we look back at all the different changes that I had to do, you get the idea. Now you're probably sitting there going, sweet lamid Jays, it's busy. It's really not. Again, you're just reacting on what ATC are asking you what to do. Turn this, move to here, go there. And you're just reading it back as best you can. I left out the part where Josh had told me cleared for the ILS 10 right. I didn't do it. I forgot it. And he's like, Murph, tell me you know what the crack is. Oh yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to select approach mode on the gadget. VOR localizer is engaged. Time to call back. And Firefly 235 fully established on the ILS runway 10 right.
Firefly 235, thank you. Contact tower 118.6. Bye.
Over to tower 118.6, Firefly 235. Thanks. Now we change frequency. Have a listen first. Dublin Tower, Firefly 235, fully established on the ILS, runway 10 right.
Firefly 235, Dublin Tower, although surface wind 140 degrees, 4 knots, runway 10 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 10 right, Firefly 235. All right. So let me see. Command A, Command B. Let's see if we can get a dual landing in here. Probably not. We're miles above the glide. Put her down quickly. Approach mode, Murph. There we go. Stick her down now. Okay. Bring the speed down a little bit better. 150. Drop the gear. We're adding more drag. I'm a little bit high. So we're going to try and correct all this. And remember, if I'm not stable by a certain altitude, we're in trouble. So this is a little bit messy, but I'm comfortable. I can fix this. I'll fix it, lads. Don't you worry. Auto brakes are set to 2. We're trying to decel here as quickly as possible. Auto throttle off. Autopilot off. I can see the runway. We're going to go visual. And easy does it. Murphy. All right. So descending, little bit of wind here, Nothing too much worried. We should be okay. So easy does it. Watch your speed coming in. Easy now. We're a little bit high, but I think we're okay. Keep those brakes armed. We might get a little bell ringing now because of my speed. But we can correct this. Again, we're visual. I'm very confident doing what we're doing. Everything's manual. We've been cleared to land, which is great. And we're going to be aiming for Sierra 2. Get ourselves back on that glide. There we go. Just make sure we're on the right runway. We're okay. Inner marker. We're on the glide. Watch your speed. Runway 10 right. Here we go.
100.
Easy. Slightly off to the left.
40. 30.
Get her down.
20. 10.
And touchdown. Reversers. We're aiming for Sierra 2 if we can make it. That's what we're trying to do. We should be okay. There's decel. Brakes are already out. Reverser stowed. Start bringing the flaps in. Sierra 2 is coming up on our left-hand side.
Firefly 235, vacate Sierra 2, Whiskey 2.
Vacate Sierra 2, Whiskey 2, Firefly 235. Here's Sierra 2. And we'll get ourselves lined up onto Whiskey 2. Welcome to Dublin. Now, Whiskey 2 is to the left here, look. So you got to be careful with that little chicane. I could have went straight on, but that's Whiskey 1. Whiskey 2 is over this way, lads. So I've got the lights off. And then we'll report when we're on Whiskey 2. And Firefly Air 235 on Whiskey 2. Request parking West Apron.
Firefly 235, Roger, taxi Whiskey 2 into the West Apron, stand of choice. Good evening.
Whiskey 2 left into the apron, stand of choice. Firefly 235, thanks for your service. Alright, so let me see. Strobes come off. APU, start her up. Runway turn-offs, I would leave those on. We're still taxiing. Transponder at this stage will go back to TA. We're pretty much cleared now by tower. We're finished with everything. And we have a stand of choice or parking of choice into the West Apron here. Alright? So that was probably a lot thrown at you, lads. Some are probably sitting there going, Murphy, we're all right, but... And others are like, sweet suffering Jesus, right? Don't worry. All of this is recorded. And I suppose the point that I'm trying to get you to see is it's only a matter of reading back. That was as real to VATSIM as you're going to see it. And you can probably tell straight away how important it is to be competent with your aircraft. How important it actually is to make sure that you're proficient and you know exactly what you're doing with your aircraft, because things happen quickly, right? And that's even with me trying to slow things down and... Do you know what I mean? So far so good. So I'm still on Dublin Tower's frequency. I can just monitor that. There's no panic at all. And let me see. We'll abandon chip in here on the right hand side, sure. Let's go for what's this? 620 center? Yes. So get ourselves lined up here. Jesus, Murphy, your turning skills are that of an absolute muppet. It's grand, lads, totally fine. Okay, let's rumble in. We're detected on the visual guidance docking station. We are a 737. Get ourselves lined up. We are straighten up there now, Jemima. Horse it in there now. And let's see how good the parking machine is going to park us. Slow it down. Very good. Slightly left. Keep her straight there now, Murph. Slow. Yeah, we're going slow. 5 meters. With Jesus then. Go really handy now, Murph. Go on. There we go. Stop. Park and brake. Brilliant. APU up and running. Go ahead, get the bleeds. APU generators. And we can start bringing down our aircraft power. Aircraft power is coming off. Transponder back onto standby. Flight complete. Right. Now, Murphy, also, not forget you are alone in the cockpit as well, so you are effectively doing 200% workload. Correct. When you have, and this is the advantages, lads, of practicing all of these things. using shared cockpit, your controls. I saw Adam and I think it was Captain Butters in there yesterday. They were using one of our channels on Discord. They were using your controls, right? Which basically allowed the lads to communicate and fly together, one looking after ATC, one looking after the aircraft. Myself and Gibbo did this. Gibbo flew the plane, I looked after ATC. And what that adds in terms of help and also immersion, it's absolutely brilliant. It's incredible what you can actually do, right? So at this stage, I'm now going to finish this flight because I'm now going to fly with Group B now in a moment, all right, because the time is looking well. For my next aircraft, I'm going to fly the entire route. It's out of Bristol, and we're going to be flying back towards Dublin, and I'm going to take in the TBM 850. I'm going to be using the PMS 50 GTN 750. You'll get an idea of you know, what way I'm going to load up the flight plan and all this jazz. All right. So any questions so far? Everyone okay at the moment? As I said, everything is here on everything here is, it's recorded. Watch it back. Again, you know, you can probably tweak things to say, Murph, you were too high, you know, you were a little bit slow, the aircraft wasn't fully configured maybe. These are the things that I go back myself and say, right, what did I get right or what didn't I get right? Because you learn from them, right? And every time, Gibbo said this and I agree, every time you fly on VATSIM, you learn something new or you hear something new. You hear something for the first time. It's pretty cool, right? So what we're going to do now, we're going to get ourselves fully configured for the Group B flight. All right, so I'm going to change my aircraft over to a TBM. Here's my TBM. 850, please. Let's have a look at the liveries. Let's go with the El Stivo. And I'm going to put in Firefly 235 just to make life easier. Firefly 235, that's my tail number, that's my call sign, and that's what we're going to do. At this stage, I'm now going to ramble all the way down to Bristol. And we don't need to start in Bristol just yet, lads. Just be aware we will be starting in Bristol shortly. Now, again, when it comes down to where you want to taxi to and from, this is really handy because, well, Bristol and Edinburgh are very handy in terms of taxiways. They're relatively simple. So I can get parking over here at the main gates, at the terminals, or I'm going to go over to the GA parking over here. I'm going to go ramp 3. Now, this is important. I need to write down ramp 3. So I'm going to write down on my little list, ramp 3. All right. And click fly. So once this loads in, the next thing I'm going to do is plan my flight, file my plan, and then start looking at what it is I need to do. And during this, I'm going to use full ATC all the way. I'm going to be talking to ATC at Bristol. Then I need to transition over to UNICOM. Then we're going to be chatting to Dublin approach once again. And what makes this more challenging, we're going to have aircraft coming in from the north. We're coming in from the south. You get the idea. Things now become very busy. All right. And the importance of our awareness, if you like, of what's happening in and around our airspace, that's where it'll all start happening. All right. Now, let me see. I think we're good there. How are we looking up here? Yeah, Rambog, I think so. Yeah, I think so. We might jump the gun a little bit ahead, but I think so. Let's try and get this sorted first, and then we see where we're at. Okay, so I've loaded into the sim. Here's my little airplane. And remember, there's some things I need to do, lads, because we're working off a fixed weather. Yeah, fixed weather. So I'm going to turn off live weather, and I'm going to go down to a few clouds, right? Where are we now? So a few clouds. And looking at the information we have already, which is over here, let's start putting in all the details, shall we? All right. So we'll worry about the flight plan in the moment. So the weather at Echo Golf Golf Delta, winds are 1404 knots, few clouds. All right. So bring that over there. So we're going to start with the clouds. Few clouds at 3,000 feet. So we're going to start these divils at 3,000 feet. Look, there's 3,000. It's up to you if you want to have a thick cloud layer or not. That's entirely up to you. That's the cloud coverage done. Right, there's 3,000. Wind is going to be coming in from 140. So we'll bring up 140 degrees. And the speed is 4 knots. So here's 2. There's 4. And just make sure turn off the gusts. You don't need to have gusts, right? They make a bit of a mess, all right? So that's the wind setup. We can now close the wind. And the last bit now, we need to put in our pressure, our Q and H. So this is currently on inches of mercury. I can change that. You can if you have Flow Pro, by the way, it makes life very easy. But there is an option in the simulator. You can use the metric system. You can change how things appear. So I have that put on Flow. Super handy. So it's called Flow Pro by Parallel 42. Lads, it's class. Absolutely class. So the Q and H here is going to be 1014. 1014. Get it as close to it as you possibly can, or you can type it in. 1014. And the temperature is that of 12 degrees. There we go. I'm fully configured for the weather. That's me looking good. I can mess around with the time of day. Make it look nice there when 5, maybe 6 o'clock. That'll look nice. All right. So that's my simulator now configured, right? Go back to the US system because I tend to fly on US system. So my sim is now configured in terms of what I can see and the weather and the time of day and all that sort of jazz, right? If your weather is grayed out, Redman, make sure you select custom weather. Or you'll have to go back into the main menu and select custom weather, not live weather, all right? That's how we do that. You don't have to rely on autopilot to capture the LOC. You can see it moving. If it isn't turning to intercept, just go manual and intercept it on your own, says old veteran 965. Correct. So if your autopilot is not following exactly what you want it to do, you take over. You're the pilot. All right. You're the pilot. So next up is going to be our flight plan. And a couple of ways we can do this. So let's see here now. Hang on. Let's go over here now to SimBrief, and we're going to start loading in a flight plan. And we already know roughly what the route is going to be because it's in our NOTAMs, look. That's our route. So it's going to be, like, there's a lot of waypoints here if you notice, right? So let's go into SimBrief and let's launch a flight plan, all right? So it's a new flight, and I am Firefly 235. I'm departing Echo Golf Golf Delta, and my arrival is going to be into Dublin. The aircraft of choice is that of a TBM 850. And let's see what this thing will do automatically. We're looking fairly good, but let's look at it. So it's going to be the Beacon 1 Zulu, Papa 4, Felka, Nixie, M17, Vatry. How close is this? Beacon 4, Felka, L9er, Nixie, Vatry. Is L9er in there? It is. And my arrival runway is not 34. I need to select 10 right. So it's the Vatry 2 Romeo. Okay. Now, Josh, not sure if you can hear me, but the is it Rhubar you want me to talk to you about 10 miles prior to Rhubar? Would that be fair enough? I think that's where we're going to give him a shout. Again, it's about 10 miles south of this location that we're going to chat to him, right? Right, analyze the route. The route is looking good. So we've Pemob, Vatry, or it could be Vatry either. No, 10 miles before Vatry. Thanks, Josh. Right, lads. So Group B, write this down. We must contact Dublin Approach when we are about 10 miles away from the waypoint Vatry. 10 miles from Vatry. Write it down, yeah? Because that'll help you remember. Vatry, 10 miles. That's when you want to start talking to Dublin Approach. Is that fair enough? Now, in terms of our altitude for this one, I'm not going to go auto. I'm going to keep it nice and handy because we are in a TBM. We're not going to be going into the... Well, you can in a TBM, but if you're in something a lot smaller, forget about really high altitudes. For this one, I'm going to go with flight level 140, or that's 14,000 feet in old money. 140, all right? Departure runway is 09. Confirmed that that's on our route. Departure runway 09. Arrival runway is 10 right. It's the Beacon 1 Zulu and a Vatry 2. Beacon 1 Zulu is there and a Vatry 2. Grant, I'm going to generate this flight. The star actually begins at Vatry. That's why we're talking to him 10 miles before the star. All right. Now look at our routing. We're probably saying, Jesus, look at this. It's mad. We will definitely expect to get vectors. Definitely, because he's going to have aircraft coming in along the way. All right. So here's all my information saved. I can park that over there. All right. And now I need to get my aircraft configured. Now before that, well, I need to jump in and have a listen to the local ATIS information. So I can... I'll do this now. So we're on the ground, everything's off, cold and dark, and let me see, we're going to get our aircraft up and running. So we're going to go ground power. Starter I don't need to worry about. Probably don't need gyros. The avionics need to be turned on because this is where you would be putting in or contacting ATC, right? We look at the map and we can start typing all this stuff in here now when it comes to our flight plan. Let's have a listen to the current ATIS at Bristol.
Temperature 12, dew point 5. QNH 1014 hectopascals. Landing and departing runway 09er. Transition level flight level 70. English Murph, you can do it. Advise controller on initial contact that you have information Quebec.
Okay, we listen in again.
Bristol Airport Information Quebec. 1900 Zulu. Wind 140 at 4 knots. Visibility 10 or more kilometers. Few clouds at 3000. Temperature 12, dew point 5. QNH 1014 hectopascals. Landing and departing runway 09er. Transition level flight level 70. English Murph, you can do it. Advise controller on initial contact that you have information Quebec.
Brilliant, right? Brilliant. Okay. So, Rambog, whenever you're ready, I'm going to give you a shout in a moment, just me. And then, as I said, the rest of the lads will be jumping in once Gibbo is happy that they're leaving Edinburgh. So whenever Rambog is ready, just if you look after me in Bristol. And again, I want to go slightly ahead so the group behind have an idea of what to expect, right? What's going to happen next, all right? Even Jemima's raging, right? Go on, Jemima, brilliant. So we have our information. Next up now, we need to program in our computer, right? Our flight management system. So we're going to do this. So let's have a look in here. That's all looking good. I'm going to go into the flight plan. Now, you can, with the PMS 750, we can import the whole shebang out of SimBrief. Really, really handy. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do it manually. So it'll give you an idea of how to program this thing exactly, right? So what we're going to do, bring up Navigraph here, unload my last flight. And now I'm going to import my most current flight from SimBrief. Echo Golf, Golf Delta to Echo India Delta Whiskey. That's the first little trick. My second trick now, lads, is making sure all of this makes sense and make sure that I have access to the charts. I don't have an approach. So we're going to go into Dublin, open the charts, approach. We want ILS for 10 right, and I'm going to pop in the chart. So let's review. I'm currently down here at parking 3. It's also known as, look, grass parking area, right? Or hangar parking, right? Southern parking area. So we can say we're over at the southern parking or the grass parking area. Our instructions might be taxi Juliet or taxi hotel. The departure runway here is 09er. ATC more than likely will not allow me to back taxi. So I'd be expecting to cross one of the runways and then taxi via the apron, golf, and then hold short. I'm getting a bit of a picture what we're doing. Let's look at the departure, right? So we're on the Beacon 1 Zulu departure from runway 9. We will be flying this direction. We're on a heading of 087 degrees. As we take off, we will be between 3,000 and 6,000 feet in our altitude before we start to turn to the left of 304 degrees. From there, we climb. We're going to be at 6,000 feet at Beacon. And then we continue on until we get to the Brecon VOR at 6,000 feet. We are restricted to 6,000 feet until we get to Brecon. That's important. Don't go above 6,000 feet unless ATC have said you're okay to do so. So if ATC are issuing stop climbs, they might. We still can't go past 6,000 feet until we're leaving Brecon, unless we're told unrestricted climb. We also have a constraint here with our speed. Maximum 250 knots below flight level 100, unless otherwise authorized. Do not climb above 6,000 until instructed by ATC. Our charts are giving us all the information, lads. Yeah? So if you're unsure, read the chart. Read your charts. All right? Speed for Block B, anywhere from 250 down to, 110. Right? Give or take. So I'm happy enough with that. Let's have a look now at our arrival. So our first initial approach fix is that of Vatry, below flight level 230. All right. we're going to give ATC a shout when we're 10 miles from there. Let's have a look at the approach. If everything goes well and we don't need vectors, let's start looking at these names. We've Rhubar. You have DTAX. Yeah? You have Babin. Bivdi. Get rid of that. You have Bivdi. Move it across. You have Oslex. I nearly said that wrong. That nearly said Oslex. Oslex, if we need to, right? And then we're in. So you get the idea. We're now learning all of these waypoints. I've got Bermo as well. And look at the speed constraints. Maximum speed 220 knots at these areas. So we're looking at our charts and we're trying to figure out, right, well, if ATC give us somewhere to go direct, well, just make sure you're getting used to the waypoint names that are in that vicinity. All right? And then same crack again, our ILS approach, we need to tune in our frequencies. We're going to need 108.9er. Yeah? And we're going to want our decision altitude. That's important. And then our last little trick of the day, same crack, again, they want us to exit, if possible, vacate the runway at Sierra 2. So they want us to go this way. So I'm using annotations on Navigraph, which is absolutely freaking brilliant. And I can now look on all my charts. I'm kind of like forecasting or planning. This is what I'm going to be doing. Right? So we get the idea. Fair enough. That's all looking hunky-dory. From here, it's now time to file a flight plan. I can't talk to ATC until I actually file my plan, because he'll say, he'll say what we all dread. I don't have a flight plan. And then we always go, balls, right? So we need to put in our flight plan. I'm going to copy the routing down here. And we're going to go in and set a new flight plan. I'm Firefly 235. I'm now in a TBM 850. If you're unsure of the SECAL code or the aircraft code, you can get it from your flight plan. Right? Check this out. TBM 850, so it's a TBM 8. TBM 8. Yeah? TBM 8. That's okay. TBM 8. So TBM 8. Wake category is light. Departure is now Echo Golf Golf Delta. Off the blocks, I want to be out of here in 15 Zulu. Altitude, what did we put in? 140. Thank you, Super Thai. Speed, yeah, I'll probably get maybe 250. I'll probably get 250. Arrival is Dublin. Our alternate is going to be Shannon. En route time is roughly 50 minutes. And our endurance is, well, I'm going to carry more fuel. We'll have about 4 hours of endurance. And I'm going to put in my flight, which is this. So it's going to be Bristol from runway 09er, the Beacon 1 Zulu over to Brecon, and then all the way in. Submit the flight plan. It's now being submitted. Flight plan is done and dusted. Brilliant, right? Brilliant. So our next little trick now is contact ATC and request our clearance. So that's what we're going to do. Let me see. So we need to give all the information. So have a listen to this, and this is how we do it. And remember, get ready to write stuff down, right? Bristol Tower, Firefly 235, TBM 850, grass parking, information Quebec, request IFR to Dublin.
Firefly 235, you are clear to Dublin. The Brecon 1 Zulu departure, runway 09. Initial climb, altitude 6,000 feet, squawk 6657, and departure frequency with Unicom, 122.8.
Okay, I've wrote it down. This is what it sounds like. Cleared to Dublin, Beacon 1 Zulu departure, runway 09. Initial altitude 6,000 feet, squawk 6657, and departure frequency Unicom 122.8 for Firefly 235.
Firefly 235, read back correct. Call for push and start.
We'll go Firefly 235. Yep, that'd be Jesus. Brilliant. So, that's our clearance. Our clearance for our route, which is Dublin, and our departure and our runway. Our altitude is 6,000 feet. Our transponder squawk is 6657. And then our radio frequency, 122.8 on departure. Super. So we have our clearance. The rest is now getting ourselves up and running. Any questions so far? Are we doing okay? Am I actually doing something right? Don't worry, lads. If you're probably saying, Jesus, Murph, you haven't made any terrible mistakes, I will. Give it time. Give it time. I'm making a complete and utter mess of this now. Right, so aircraft, it's only a matter of getting things kind of set up. What's my weight and balance like? Don't answer that. In general, right, yeah, loads of fuel on board there. We've plenty of fuel, right? So I don't need a push, really. I don't think I need a push. Oh, I do. I'm going to need a push. Now, considering where the runway or the taxiway is, where do you think he's going to tell us to push? He could just say, yeah, push and start approved. Or he might say, push and start approved, facing north. That's the north over there, right? So we'll jump back in. Firefly 235, grass parking, request, push and start.
Firefly 235, push and start approved, face north, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Push and start approved, facing north, QNH 1014 hectopascals for Firefly 235. Okay, so he's given me the barrow. You have to repeat the full barrow. QNH 1014 hectopascals. Right, grand. 1014 set. Altimeter, don't worry about all of this. Although we could put in the L gadget here now for 6,000 feet. That was the initial climb, yeah? And also then our squawk. Well, our squawk, he told us originally is going to be 6657. And we'll turn the divel on. Enter. Right, so we're walking, talking and squawking. Now it's going to be a startup on the L machine here. I don't know how this plane will like me starting with the... well, we're on ground power, so let's figure it out. Auto select, fuel pump on, starter, ignition goes to auto. What else do we need to do here now? Fuel pumps are looking good. That's all looking good. Get some lighting on here now as well. Overhead, want the navs on. Get our strobes on. There are beacon lights. Generator is currently off. And we're going to go for a start. Right. We probably need to push and then start. So come here, give us a push. Now I can't face north using the default Microsoft push. And don't use you know, slew mode, right? Once the engine is started, I'll quickly fire in our flight plan, all right? Because I'm not going to call for taxi. I'm just getting me push, right? Now you could have this all set up ready to go, but for this, I'm not going to worry too much, all right? If you do have another add-on, you can absolutely, you know, direct the pushback crew where to put you. I'm not going to start it up because it just doesn't look right. Everything turned off because it said ground power. We'll go far in life. Again, get used to the aircraft that you're operating with and all should be well in the realm. Right, thanks for that push. Good luck to you now, Josephine. Right, so from here, I'm going to start up and then I'm going to put in all the information. All right, so quick check again. Starter, go ahead and start her up. And let's have a listen. NG rising. We're going to wait for about 20%. There's 20%. Introducing fuel. Monitor ITT for a hot start or NG for a hung start. We should bellow out here at about 7:30. 7:23 she peaked. Once our NG goes above 50%, we can disengage the starter. And all our systems will be coming alive here now. There's 50%. Starter off. And systems are now looking good. Continue with our flows. Go ahead and get our avionics systems turned on. Generators activated. And let's continue. So, boost pump goes to auto. Auto. We're going to go bleed system activate. Get some lights turned on here. And we'll put on our EFIS. Alright, alright. So we're going to go in here and put in our flight details. So, where's me flight plan? We'll do this briefly. Now he's probably saying, Murph, I told you to face left. So we can do this very quickly, right? Very quickly. Or he said face north. And we're not taxiing, we're pretty much just turning on the spot, lads, yeah? As if the push guard gadget was doing it. Okay, stop her there. Parking brake is on. And we'll go into our flight plan. Hey, the Ghost is here. Good to see you, the Ghost. You're welcome in. Right, where's me stuff? Right, here we go. So our flight plan, yeah? Let's start populating the boxes in here. So our destination is going to be Dublin. We start off with our destination. So there's our destination, Dublin. And we're going to start putting in our waypoints. So our first waypoint is going to be Brecon. There she be. It's asking us where it is. There's Brecon. I want you. After Brecon, we're going to be entering an airway. You can't put in the airway direct from here. It gets messy. So the airway is Papa 4. If you click on the Brecon, we're going to load an airway and we're going to say, hey, give me Papa 4. There it is. Now it's going to ask, well, where are you getting off this airway? It's at Felka. Sweet. Load that. Okay. Next, from Felka, we need to go to Lima 9. That's another airway, not a waypoint. So we'll go to Felka. Load airway, Lima 9, and we're going to ramble on this until we get over to Nixie. Here's Nixie right here. And we're going to load this. Next up from Nixie, it's going to be a waypoint of Mike 17. Load the airway, Mike 17, and we're getting off at Vatry. And we're going to load that as well. After Vatry, we're on to our star. Okay, now Bristol. Click back in on Bristol, and I'm going to load a procedure. This is going to be my departure. We are departing out of runway 09er on the Beacon 1 Zulu. So we're going to select Beacon 1 Zulu, runway 09. There's no transition. We're going to load. Now we come down to Dublin, and we're planning to load a procedure for our arrival. It will be the Vatry or the Vatter 2 Romeo. So go down here to Vatter 2 Romeo. Transition, forget about that for the minute. The runway needs to be 10 right, okay? And I'm not too worried about a transition here either, and I'm going to load that. Okay, that is now every single gadget set in my gadget. Let's go back and check out the map. Does this look to be the correct routing? Yes, it does. There's my flight. All the way up to Dublin. This looks absolutely fine to me. Okay, sweet. Brilliant. So we'll zoom in. This is going to give me traffic alerts, but I'm not overly worried. How's the engine conditions? Everything here is looking good. Squawk currently is set to on, so ATC can see me. What else do we need to do here? Q&H is already set. Master caution. What are you shouting over? Park and brake. So I need to put on our pitot and our stall warnings. Pitot and stall, they come on. And we can activate our autopilot. We're going to say flight director on. Flight director off, so that's working. We can also test this. This will go through as tests just before we start taking off. For our departure, we're going to set 1 notch of flaps. We can do this prior to the runway. I'm not overly worried. We're not ready to taxi just yet. So we're just going to have a listen in, and then we're going to call for taxi. Now, our flight altitude is going to be 140, so I don't need to worry too much about our pressurization. And the cabin temperature, well, it's 12 degrees. It ain't too bad. Don't need to worry here too much either. All right. But yeah, use procedure departures in the 750. You could. This was just a very manual way of doing it. Very, very manual. All right. There are 2 kinds of people in the world. Those that can extrapolate information from incomplete data. I love that. And then those, it's like a goat looking at thunder. Right. So let's bring up our charts. We're expecting some sort of a taxi clearance. Juliet Hotel. We'll probably be sent across and hold. So let's find out. Firefly 235, request taxi.
Firefly 235, taxi hotel, cross runway 09, Delta, Zulu, Golf, hold short runway 09.
It sounds worse than it is. Taxi hotel, cross runway 09, Delta, Zulu, Golf, hold short 09 for Firefly 235. Right, grand. You didn't shout back and say you're a muppet. Now, do we know where we're going, lads? Do we know where we're going? Open up this and let's start drawing, because this is the best invention since sliced pan. So let's put in green. So he said, hotel, cross, Zulu, Golf, and hold short 09. That's our taxi. That's all we need to do. How handy is that? Ah, brilliant. Right. Are we ready, sports fans? Taxi light on. Flaps are set. This is all looking good. Trims are set. That's all kind of half looking good, although the rudder trim isn't set. Let's not worry about that too much. Transponder is transponding, but we'll leave it on to on. We're okay at the minute. So park and brake coming off. Quick check around the aircraft, make sure we're not going to run over anyone or bash into anyone. We're looking good. And apply a bit of power. And we're looking good. Also for our GPS unit, we're going to turn it on to GPS mode because we want to follow our actual flight plan. And reset our direction heading here as well. Make sure there's no issue. So hotel, here's a signpost. Hotel is on our left-hand side. This is Pilots Plus Bristol, and it's very good. Very, very good. Okay, so here's hotel. Turn left, Murph. And like, don't worry if you make mistakes in this. I've turned right when I should have turned left so many times. And it's not even funny, right? So continue taxiing. We have been cleared to cross the runway. But again, we keep our eyes out, right? We keep our eyes out. No one's going to thank us if we inadvertently crash into something. Do you know what I mean? Rambog, I would also say at this stage, if you want to start rallying the troops for Group B, the Group B lads, if you just want to give them a quick shout. So here we are approaching an active runway. So what do we do approaching a runway? Well, we need to light up everything. Strobes are already on. Get our landing lights on here. And we're checking everything. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here we are. Alright? I hope we're getting on okay. I don't see anyone in Southeast Asia. This could be fun, right? So quick check. Quick check. We're good. We're crossing the runway. 09. Once we get to the far side, we're going to taxi Zulu, Golf, and then hold short. Alright? So hopefully you're getting the idea. Right? Quick shot, thank you for the follow. You're very welcome in, man. And again, lads, all of this is recorded if we're ever stuck. You know what I mean? So we should be alright. Now, remember, watch your speed.
Bristol clearance. FFA 202, a Beechcroft Baron on parking 19. Request IFR to Dublin.
So remember, this is the guys now starting to talk. These are our own people for tonight.
2, hello. You're clear to Dublin.
You have no script tonight, so just remember the importance of your ability to understand what ATC are saying to you, write it down, and then read it back. If you forget something, ATC are going to remind you. Hey. And, do you know what I mean?
Squawk 5057.
Okay, so I have to continue taxiing here. We're doing all right so far. And again, now the radio waves are going to start getting busy, right? They're off the leash tonight, Bird, right?
Departure runway 09 and your initial climb altitude 6,000 feet.
Brecken FFA 202, the Brecken 1 and 0 and 6,000 feet.
So see how you go. Just if you need a minute, can you say again, right?
Just confirm runway 09.
Give us under serious pressure in Edinburgh. He's doing clearances ground and tower and he's nailing it. And he's wearing a kilt. No better buckle.
Read back correct. Call for
But yeah, Gibbo and Rambog, they're doing great work. Josh and Adam are looking after Dublin for us, and well,
good afternoon, Bristol Tower.
Very soon they're going to get busy.
006 on the West Apron requesting IFR clearance to Dublin.
Fly 006, hello, you are cleared to Dublin. Beacon 1.
Gibbo's in a kilt, right? Now this is going to be a challenge for me, because I need to give a shout. I need to get in on the radio to say, hey, I'm holding short. Yeah?
5063 and departure with UNICOM.
So look, here's a whole short line up here. So I need to listen in and get myself ready.
Clear to Dublin.
I'm not going to tell them I'm ready until I'm actually ready.
Runway 09, stop climb 6,000 feet. Squawk 5063. And departure frequency is 122 decibel.
Now remember,
Firefly 006.
let the conversation end before I jump on.
Firefly 006, read back correct. Call for push and start.
And Firefly 235 holding short runway 09er at Golf.
Firefly 235, runway 09, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 09, Firefly 235. Okay.
Bristol Tower, Firefly 2303, requesting IFR clearance to Dublin. with information
Firefly.
Romeo.
Firefly 303, you are cleared to Dublin, Brecon 1 Zulu departure, runway 09. Stop climb altitude 6,000 feet, squawk 5054.
This is terribly exciting, isn't it? Brilliant.
122.8.
Cleared on Brecon.
Jesus, look at the height of the lights coming in here.
departure
Fantastic.
From runway 09, stop climb flight 0060. Frequency Unicom 122.8 and squawking 5.
We have a rogue aircraft. Who's that now? You need to tag off. You're going to break it.
Firefly 303, read back correct. Call for push and start.
Okay, lining up and wait.
Call for push and start when ready. 55303.
Firefly 006 requesting startup.
Okay, we sit tight,
Firefly
mate.
006,
It's a
push and start
TBM.
approved. Base west, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Start approved, face west, QNH 1014. Firefly 006.
Firefly 235, surface wind 140 at 4 knots, runway 09, cleared for takeoff. Report passing 2,000 feet.
Clear takeoff, runway 09. Will report passing altitude 2,000 feet. Firefly 235. Sweet! Right, lads. Power coming in. And let's ramble on.
Bristol ground. FFA 202, request push and start.
So, take off power
Firefly
set.
202, push and start approved. Face west, QNH
Speed alive.
114 hectopascals.
Easy now, Jemima.
FFA 202,
There's
face
60.
west, and QNH 1014.
There's 80. There's 85. Oopsie daisy. Positive rate of climb. Tap of the toe brakes. Gear up. Little bit of windage. We're okay. Speed 120. Altitude 5. Flaps in. Yaw dampener on. Nav mode armed. Autopilot engaged. And vertical speed active. Let's climb at 1,500 feet per minute. We need to give him a call once we're passing altitude 2,000 feet. And so far, so good. Alright. Again, keep an eye on your charts of what's happening. Make sure you're flying the right direction. And all goes terribly well in the realm, right? So GPS is giving me information here. It's probably telling me to turn course. That's okay. Don't turn yet. Nav mode should be armed and followed, which it is. All is well. Firefly 235 passing altitude 2,000 feet.
Firefly 235, no further ATC available. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye-bye.
Over to Unicom 122.8. Firefly 235. See ya! Alright. Over to Unicom now, lads. Where are you? Where are you? Me beautiful Unicom channel, where'd you go? Aha.
1,000 feet climbing for flight level 240 Edinburgh traffic.
I'm catching all the Edinburgh lads. Now this might confuse them. When you're on VATSIM, you won't hear Edinburgh and Bristol on Unicom. We're too far away. They have this sound degradation, right? So you'll hear like bag of chips, currants. You won't understand the word they're saying, right? But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. So we're climbing nicely. 6,000 feet is what we're told. Again, I need to keep an eye on this, so I'm going to give a shout. Bristol traffic, Firefly 235 TBM, passing altitude 3,500 for flight level 60, 10 miles from Brecon. Bristol traffic. Okay. They're Scottish. You mightn't understand them anyway. Och, aye, doing the thing. Aye.
Edinburgh traffic, Firefly 605, overhead waypoint Gosson, climbing up to flight level 240.
Ooh. So I'm listening in. I'm monitoring what's happening around me, right? Let's have a look what the GPS is telling me. Again, we're keeping an eye on things. Speed is looking good. Remember, we do have a speed constraint. Temperature is low in the cabin. Better turn up the old sauce here and that now. Air conditioning, bring you up. Temperature, bring it up. Fan flow, put it on auto. I have a speed constraint under flight level 100. Yeah, 10,000. So I can't go above 220. Now, depending on the aircraft, when it comes to auto throttle, I don't think we have an auto throttle on this. We don't. So keep an eye on our speed. We're manually flying and we're passing. The transition level is 7,000, meaning I don't go onto standard until I pass 7,000. When I keep an eye on my charts, we know when we can actually go above that speed restriction. Let's go into our star. So we know we're on this leg now at 6,000 at Beacon, Brecon at 6,000. Once we hit the Brecon VOR, then we can start climbing. So at the moment, 6,000 is what I want. Watch your speed. At this stage, the inertial separator can go back in. Bring the torque back a smidgen, because we don't want to over torque. And we can probably go A50 mode. A50 mode engaged. There's a rogue aircraft. It's Piat 691. Come on, Piat, you devil. You're causing havoc. Muse, guess who set wind to 40 knots? Ah, brilliant! I'm flying the DC-6 and I only have a gyro pilot. I wish I had nav autopilot. Then O'Reilly, so if you have something like Flow, you can use Flow's autopilot to override that if you want, right? Remind me when to switch to Unicom and contact approach. When you are 10 miles before NIMAT. El Pilito. Alright? So again, we can have a look at what we're doing. Look, you can see our waypoints. So we're currently on the Delta 1240. We're miles away. But we'll monitor all of this. Brecon. So I was actually more than 10 miles. I was about 20 miles from Brecon. But anyway, we're doing a thing, right? So if I have an aircraft flying, I imagine that's Piat, is it? So when you're on VATSIM, you just wouldn't have this traffic that close to you. It just wouldn't happen, you know what I mean? Hey, Keen Lafford is here, good to see you. So remember, we're in control of our aircraft, don't exceed that speed. Everything at the moment is looking okay, and well, we can't go much higher than this. We can now set a new altitude, so we put in our cruise. I'm going to arm 14,000 or flight level 140. Pardon me, but I can't get there until I've passed the Brecon VOR. So I'll give a shout back to Bristol once I'm at the Brecon VOR, and then we'll continue on. Now, we want to stay ahead of the aircraft. So, what happens when we get to Brecon? Well, Brecon is here. Here's Brecon. See it there? Look, teeny tiny. Then it's over to Felka. Then all the way to Nixie. From Nixie, this is where we want to start paying attention because we're going to be chatting to Dublin Approach 10 miles south of Vatry. And then the crack is really going to start. Alright? So the plan is here. So far so good. We're on a SID, a standard instrument departure. Altitude, everything is behaving exactly the way we want it to. So I think we're okay. Dublin ATC might be offline. Okay. I'll hardly get it from here. I'll try a bit of Dublin ATC. Yeah, Dublin ATC is offline. Gibbo has cleared everyone from Edinburgh. Good man, Gibbo! Gibbo, sure, come on and fly out of here for the crack. Brilliant. Right, get back onto Unicom, Murphy, you big idiot. Okay, so we're back on Unicom. So I can see on the chart, all is looking well. Aircraft is behaving. We're at altitude 6,000 feet. Speed is looking good. The aircraft is stable. I'm trying to bring up the internal temperature because my passengers were given out. It's now 20 degrees. Lovely hurdling. And we're just flying. Not at all, Piat. You're grand, dude. Great to see you, man. How are you liking the tornado? Well done, Gibbo. He's after clearing everyone. Brilliant. So you contact Dublin 10 miles from NIMAT or 10 miles from Vatry. Now, how are we getting on over this screen? I think we're doing okay.
Hello there.
Hello there. We have a follow. Welcome in.
The overhead custom.
Darren Haywood, welcome in. Piat is loving the tornado. Nice. They have a couple of updates coming very soon for that as well, Piat. I say Piat, it's Pat. Jesus, Murph.
Altitude to 24,000. 5 flight 003.
So again, lads, when it comes to the phraseology, This is probably what we'll have to hunker down. Oh, that's not the route at all. Winkle Gaskler, sorry, the route hasn't been updated for tonight. Most of this stuff is focusing on making sure you have the ability to chat to ATC and understand them, right? However, when it comes to flying on VATSIM, you just want to make sure that we're getting the vocabulary correct. Go back to your voice procedure. So, for instance, you wouldn't say altitude 24,000 feet. That'd be a flight level 240. Yeah? And how we get to that is, that's the difference between transition altitude and transition levels. These are just small, minutiae bits of details. But if you say it altitude 24,000 feet, right, ATC be like, uh-oh, right? So they're so small and insignificant. This is what you start working on, right? Hey, look at the views here. Look at the state of this. Man alive, you gotta love flying over the UK. It's absolutely friggin' gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Now, check on me mappage. How are we looking? So we're still heading on for the Brecon VOR, and we are 7 miles. 7 miles out from the VOR. Okay. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to smash the like button. Oh, good man, Scott. Yes, friends, if you're watching us on the YouTube, well, hit the little like button. Do you know what it does? This is brilliant. It will start recommending this stream to other people to give them a headache. Smash it. Absolutely smash it. Brilliant. Microsoft scenery never ceases to amaze me. It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. Brecon, I've been there. It's a tiny Scottish town. Is it, Larry? Jesus. Nice. So far, so good. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful, lads? And no doubt we have a conga line back here somewhere. We do. Starbug is flying along. Close support escorting. But again, you know the story. When it comes to VATSIM, you're only dealing with other VATSIM traffic, right? And a lot of this might kind of go over your head a little bit, but don't worry. Like, the idea here is everything we're doing, it's recorded. We can look back and it's grand, right? So I'm going to give a shout on to UNICOM because I want to climb. So we're going to say climb. We'll probably do 1500. I could go into IAS mode, but we're okay.
Golf Oscar Whiskey 35.
And Bristol traffic, Firefly 235 overhead the Beacon VOR. Altitude 6,000, climbing to flight level 140. Bristol traffic. All right. We start to climb, start bringing the power in. I have it on A50 mode. And we're going to climb here 1,500 feet per minute. I want to get us up to our cruise altitude, right? Up to our cruise altitude. It appears to be Brecon. Yes, Brecon indeed. This is one park in the area of the hills in Wales. Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So we're on our way up to flight level...
Edinburgh traffic, Firefly 007 is at Fenwick, climbing from flight level 70 to flight level 240, Edinburgh traffic.
Bad news. So we've already passed our transition altitude, which was 7,000. I'm going to click standard mode, and that'll adjust then our altitude. We're on the correct barrow for our transition altitude. So far so good, right? So far so good. Right, now. Speed is good. Climbing. Once we get over 10,000. Didn't realise you were tuned to Unicom. Wasn't expecting to hear myself on delay and then it put me off. It's grand, Muse. Don't worry about it. Sometimes I listen in just to listen. All okay for now. Grand. So remember, lads, once you start hitting up Dublin approach, make sure you have good spacing. Plenty of communication on Unicom. If Dublin approach starts coming under pressure, they're going to start sending you every direction. So be prepared to follow a heading or a direct to. Also, manage your speed. Very important. If you go into a place too quick, you're creating a bit of a
Bristol
challenge.
Traffic 55303 passing 3000 for 6000 on the beacon 1 Zulu departure.
Perfect.
Bristol traffic.
That's the first bit of Bristol traffic I can hear now behind me. And you can, like, voice procedure on that call, perfect. Perfect. Hey, Filthy is here. Happy Monday, man. Good to see you. Okay, so flight level 100, there's 10,000 feet. Lights off. Pulse lights on. Landing lights are off. And we're happily cruising along. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's stunning. Okay, GPS warning here. Watch your speed as well. Arrival at waypoint Falca. So far, so good. We're still climbing. We could report it. I don't think I need to. There's no one very close to me. But certainly when we start moving on to our next waypoint, we're going to start giving folks a shout. So we're at Falca. Let's go back in here and look at what's happening. So Falca, Nixie, and then Vatry. Now I'm probably a little bit early to listen into Dublin ATC, but let's give it a shot. I believe Dublin ATC ain't working. Now this can happen on VATSIM as well, so don't be alarmed, right? ATC information in Dublin is currently on Charlie, because I can see that when I click on the bot that we have, right? However, if the ATC channel isn't working, and it may not work on VATSIM, sometimes it doesn't work. You're like, your ATC isn't working.
In the middle, at the minute.
There's a couple of things we can do.
Yes.
Right? There's a couple of things we can do.
I'm just going to slow down.
Right, there's,
I do not see you. Sorry about that.
So there's guys chatting on VATSIM on UNICOM. Now, they're not chatting. They're trying to figure out what they're doing. And again, UNICOM, there's no strict voice procedure.
Yeah, I think there might be a server issue because Fred taxied through a couple of planes on the ground. I don't think.
So that we might be getting server issues. Again, that's the same. We're very limited what we can do, right? So we're still climbing. This is looking good. So we need to get the weather in Dublin. Now we know already what the fixed weather is on the course. We know what this is. However, if the ATC isn't actually working, right? There's a couple of ways you can find what the weather is actually doing, right? So if you go into weather and you can look at the METAR, yeah? Or you can look at the ATC. So if we look at VATSIM ATC, this is one way to find it. Now there's no actual ATC coverage over here, so we can't do anything. No real ATC available. So let's look at the METAR. Winds, visibility, and then temperatures and pressures. Alright? So that's how you do it. PS Miranda, good to see you. We're flying currently in a TBM 850. And we're just overhead Falca, and we're climbing all the way up to Nixie. So I'm about to hit my cruise altitude. And then we're going to bump up the speed a little bit. So far, so good. We're starting to level off. That speed is going to start coming up. Hope you're having a good day, man. Okay, so aircraft is behaving. Everything is doing what it should be doing. And it's primarily down to when we're gonna start talking to ATC.
303 leveled off, flight 0, flight level 060 on the Beacon 1 Zulu departure. Bristol traffic.
Sweet. So let's have a look at the rest of our flight plan. So let me see. There's Beacon, or Brecon, I beg your pardon. Falca, Agbos, Ak, Fadzu, Nixie, and you know, so on until we get to Vatry. Now with the PMS GTNs, you can do a lot of stuff. You can actually set timers, you can set alerts, you can actually tell the thing to remind you, hey, I'm here now. You can do all these sort of cool stuff. But we'll meander on here for the moment, right? Keeping an eye on things. I'm contemplating whether to buy Navigraph, says Jeb. I'm 14 and I want to get started with VATSIM, but the subscription would take up a big chunk of my allowance. What do you think? Jeb, there is absolutely no question Navigraph is the best solution, right? It is the best. It's about 10 bucks a month, right? Failing that, you still have access to charts. When you register with VATSIM, there is a program called Chart Fox, and that's free. So have a look at Chart Fox, And then, you know, if you're really getting in there, then you can look at it. Hey, Pilot Stud is here. Good to see you, man. A very happy Monday. I haven't spoken to you in ages. How's the job? How is all in the realm? Are you going to Vegas? I think you said already, but I can't remember. It's great to see you. Right. This is where you'd like, you know, tune into XM
Edinburgh
Radio.
Traffic 55505. Just outbound to Gosma at flight level 6000. Climbing to flight level 150. Edinburgh traffic.
Again, you're on Unicom. Don't worry too much about what's happening. As in, don't worry about getting it right word for word. Just be careful once you get onto Dublin approach. Now remember, he's going to get very busy. He's all the Edinburgh traffic, and now he's going to have the GA traffic rambling up as well. I've timed it though. There should be a little bit of a gap, but let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. So my cruise speed, we can probably go a little bit faster, but I'm okay at this for the minute. We're at about 210, 20 odd knots. It's giving us a ground speed of 284, and our ETA to destination is just under 40 minutes. Hey, Wombat, good to see you. Victor. Good to see you, Wombat. How are you, man? It's been a long time. Sadly, no Vegas this year as I went to FS Weekend. Ah, yes.
Flight 003.
No bother at all. I love ChartFox. I use it a while for aerodrome charts, but Navigraph would be more ideal for the AirAC. It would, Jeb, it would. As far as I know with Navigraph, you don't need to sign up for 12 months. You just do it month by month, right? So drop them a quick email. Just ask them, are you okay to sign up for 1 month? As far as I know, you can, right? And maybe just plan 1 month that you're going to do all this flying, and then you'll have access to your charts. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know, as I said, lads, the whole idea behind this course is to break the ice of communicating with ATC. And so far, you are doing it brilliantly. Brilliantly.
By flight 308 at flight level 80, 10 nautical miles north of Nimat. Information unknown because ATIS is not working.
Now, if you're 10 miles from Nimat or Nimat, you need to be talking to approach. Remember, lads, if you're coming in from Edinburgh, 10 miles north of the initial fix. If you're coming in from the south, from Bristol, it's going to be 10 miles south of Vatry. That's when you want to give them a shout. Hey, this is where I am. This is what I know. All right? Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. Helicopter ops is good, but very different world from my previous FBO job. Still getting used to the spinny fans, right? Gotta be awesome, though. There's search and rescue, I think, at your place as well, isn't there? Right, how are we getting on here now? We're doing all right, lads. We're doing all right. Rambog is flat out. Right, lads, I'm going to show you this. If you can't get the ATIS, if you can't get the ATIS, go down to the Dublin ATIS. Check this out. So Dublin ATIS doesn't seem to be working. However, if you click on the bot, click the bot, you can see, where is it? You can see the information code playing Victor, right? If you right click and open chat, right click the channel and open chat. Here's the ATIS down here in the corner, look. Right click Dublin ATIS channel and on open the chat you'll see information hotel. So hotel is current. Thank you, Rambog. Are we all now happy how to do that? Go to the Dublin ATIS channel, right click it, open chat. See that? Open chat and it'll pop up this thing here. Alright? Super duper. Now, did I just disconnect myself out of here? I think I did. Because you're on Muppet. Where's Unicom? Go back in there now, Murphy. Now, let's see. There's also a small bubble, yeah, 100%. Open chat. Super, thanks, lads. And like, you might be thinking, yeah, this is all kind of mad. Lads, what the lads have managed to make, Rambog and Gibbo, right? And they're using Flow and they're using science. They're able to get Microsoft Flight Sim traffic, be it on the Xbox or the PC, translated into Euroscope, which is a radar,
5550.
and provide weather detail on ATIS voice channels. This is off the friggin' charts of how, like, right, I get like a headache when I start thinking of how they manage this. It's quite incredible. And any of the limitations that we found, well, it comes from the lack of data we can pull successfully out of the sim. But even at that, we're pulling a lot. Like, there's a lot of data coming in this way. So it is quite amazing. So if there's going to be a couple of head-scratching moments, I'm not at all worried. Because it's, like, it's just incredible. They've done mad work. Mad work. Do you know? Right, how are we looking? We're looking good. Into me charts again. So we'll give Unicom a shout at Nixie. And then, before I get to Vatry, well, I'm going to start descending. I don't need to be terribly high here, right? And I'm going to be moving slower. So, I think we'd be alright. We hope we'd be alright. Famous last words, right? Magnum says, like in the stream, are you in 850 mode? Do you use the inertial separator on paved runway as well as grass? Magnum, yes. 850 mode is engaged. That gives me
Bristol traffic,
a bit more scope when it comes to our torque, right? We're limited by prop anyway, and you know, your ITT. However, your inertial separator, you tend to use it unless it's kind of like heavy rain and ice. Grass should be okay, but the last thing you want is to be sucking up kind of, you know, gravel and all this sort of jazz. Do you know what I mean? So runways, yeah, no hassle at all. DNH is here. Good to see you. So we're moving along nicely, 220 knots. This is fairly decent. How are we looking for folks behind us? Yeah, we're starting to get some people there now. Plenty of traffic. And can I see any traffic ahead of me? Yeah, here's all the Dublin crew. They were coming out of Edinburgh. Now on VATSIM, you're not going to see nameplates like this. At least I don't think so. Maybe you can. I know on X-Plane you can have VATSIM nameplates. But anyway. You can rely on your ADSB, on your you know, your GTN or whatever to see where traffic is. Also, if you have the GTN, right, and you want to be very, very, very fancy, well, you can go in and look at the weather and you can say, right, give me the ATIS report. You can actually look up an ATIS here. Look, I go to utilities. Where is this now? ATC, no. Where do we do this now? I can look up a METAR in here somewhere. Waypoint info. Here we go. Airport. So Dublin, right? Well, what's the weather data? So here's Dublin information live, right? And it give you a TAF as well. So your aircraft can do all of these things. If you're unsure, then you can look in. Well, are there any NOTAMs? None that it can read. What are the frequencies? There's approach 121.1. The procedures, you can go in and have a look at them, right? We can also do other stuff. We can go in and have a look at, let's say, I don't know, what ATC channels are online nearest to us. So if I was on VATSIM right now, well, Manchester is on, London Control is on, there's a few others. And this is how you know, oh look, ATC is on. And all of this works inside the PMS 50 GTN 750, which is really handy. Right, I need to talk to these lads now because we're over a waypoint. And Bristol traffic, Firefly 235, overhead Nixie, flight level 140, descending now to flight level 80 for Vatry. Bristol traffic. Okay, so we're going to dial in 8,000. Now it shouldn't be too low for Dublin approach at 8,000, but, you know, we're going to tell them, hey, we're at 8,000 feet here. So I'm going to descend down to 8,000. Arm it. V-speed it. Let's go 1,500 down. Oh no, we won't. Go a bit more shallow. Let's go 1,000 feet.
Firefly 003 at Nampai at 23,000 feet. Firefly 03 picking up traffic in my area. Is anyone near me?
Yeah, we hear you, man.
Cool.
Firefly 003, what's your current location? What's your closest waypoint?
It is past Nampai.
Nampai.
TCAS is the drop in altitude for me.
Okay. Lots of dark out the window. Yeah, I made it, says Cornwolf. It's loads more stressful with the approach controllers.
Bristol traffic, Firefly 006, TBM 850, a beam, beacon, flying west to Nixie, leaving 6,000, climbing 20,000, climbing flight level 20.
Sweet.
Bristol traffic.
Okay, so far so good.
FFA 202, overhead beacon, climbing to 8,000.
So 16, so we're 26
6,000.
miles away from Vatry. 26 miles away from Vatry. Yeah? So keep an eye on this. It's great, Murph. Gets you ready for the real thing. That's the idea. And don't feel, lads, like, the whole idea is to give you a little bit of a speed wobble, put you under a little bit of, oh, Jesus, right? Because you're seeing now kind of where the change of pace comes from. The importance of knowing your aircraft and how to handle the divil. And the importance of reacting to what ATC are saying. All right? Again, don't worry. If anyone has a bad experience and it goes wrong, we're in a very safe environment, lads. It's only us. And our plan is anything that happens that you didn't mean to happen, right? If you make a complete and utter mess of it, it's all right. We'll do our checks after the stream, like, you know, between Gibbo, Rambog, Josh, and Adam. We'll all chat to say, okay, you know, this happened. This is why we think it happened. And we'll try and focus on these points. And then we'll go back to you, or I'll go back to you and say, hey, we need to work on this. Do you know what I mean? So don't worry. If mistakes happen, don't worry. All right? Just do your absolute best by reading back what ATC is asking you to do. All right?
Hello there.
JM, good to see you. Thank you for the follow. It'll be grand, lads. It'll be grand. Right, we are descending nicely. Stick back on me lights because we're going to be approaching. We're going to be approaching the stuff. Things will definitely get more interesting now in a moment because we're, as I said, we're going to be seeing other aircraft. We're going to see a lot more aircraft.
Hello there.
So when we scope, my ADS-B is on. I can see things, right? Vatry, I'm not there yet, but we're not too far. So we're now 16 miles out from Vatry. DJ, good to see you. Hello there. I welcome any feedback, says Cornwolf. Yeah, and look at, lads, that's what it's all about. Don't worry or feel down that, you know, you might get some constructive feedback. I mean, the point here is we're trying to learn. If no one says to you, hey, you know, you could do it this way, or, you know, you might need to sharpen up doing this procedure, we'll point you in the right direction. If everyone just said, yeah, you're great, and then you go on to VATSIM and you get scalded, right? We're trying to avoid that. So this is all about figuring out where we're at. We're throwing a lot at you tonight. You have new airports. I mean, this is the first international flight we've done. And we have new controllers, and we have a new runway. We haven't arrived, or I haven't landed on 10 right in Dublin yet. And the reason why we're focusing on Dublin quite a bit, well, Dublin is the most popular airport in Ireland, and when you're on VATSIM, this is what you're going to hear. It'll be Dublin, you know? You learn from your mistakes. Look at Murph. He's a genius. As I just discovered, controllers don't mind us asking for clarification. 100%. If you find yourself in a situation where everything has gone completely ahead of you, and you genuinely, you know yourself, you're not in control of your aircraft, or you don't know how to be in control of your aircraft, well, you're going to have a bit of a challenge, right? My recommendation to you is more practice, fly the route offline, read back on our course manual, read back through all the script, and get used to saying it. Get used to speaking the words that are on the script. And then start getting used to, and start kind of half expecting what they're going to say next. Right? Jesus.
Contact tower on whatever that frequency was. Firefly 605.
118.6.
118.6. Firefly 605.
Firefly 308 descent altitude, correction descent altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1014.
This will be fun.
Descent to 4000, QNH 1014, Firefly 308.
Firefly 602, resume navigation directed Gannet, descent to altitude 3000 feet.
I'm bringing my speed down, so I need to
Direct
talk to him before I'm there.
Gannett for Firefly 602.
And Firefly 602, descent to altitude 3000 feet, cleared ILS approach runway 10 right, report established.
Cleared to the ILS 10 right, down to 3000, and we'll report when established for Firefly 602.
Firefly 007, descend, flight level 80.
Down to flight level 080, Firefly 007.
Firefly 308, after IFBAP, clear direct to Raker.
Getting busy.
After IFBAP to Raker, Firefly 308.
Dublin approach, Firefly 235.
Firefly 235, Dublin approach, hello, report level.
Firefly 235 is 4 miles south Vatry, altitude, flight level 80.
Firefly 235, Dublin approach, hello, correction, you're clear to re-enter control airspace on track to Vatry, maintaining flight level 80. Cleared Vatry to Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend, maintain flight level 80.
Clear to enter controlled airspace at Vatry, maintaining flight level 80 for the Vatry to Romeo arrival for runway 10 right, Firefly 235.
Firefly 308, descent to altitude 3000 feet, cleared ILS approach runway 10 right, report established.
Right.
Descent to 3000.
I continue on. I'm at 8000. I tried to help him out by slowing down.
Firefly 308, reduce speed 180 knots.
Reduce speed.
This is where now you have to really start listening.
180 knots, Firefly 308.
Your call sign. You can hear how quickly the controller is calling.
On the ILS 10 right.
Right?
Firefly 602, thank you. Contact tower 118.6 about.
118.6 for Firefly 602. Thank you for the ATC.
Very good. Very good, lads, yeah?
Firefly 235, clear direct to DTAX.
Clear direct to DTAX, Firefly 235. Here's DTAX. In you go. Direct DTAX. Activate.
And that was 2 stations at once. Confirm Firefly 505 was calling.
Dublin approach 55505 at flight level 180, descending to flight level 160. Request ILS approach Dublin runway 10 right via the NIMA 2 Romeo arrival.
Firefly 505, Dublin approach identified, cleared Vatry to, cleared NIMAT to Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend.
Okay, so you can hear it. It gets busy. But don't worry, lads, don't worry. So currently at flight level 80, we've been cleared direct to, DTAX.
Continue.
Speed is okay. I know he's busy. I'm not going to rush in there and create a bigger problem. At the same time, I'm not going to back up everyone behind me.
505.
Do you know what I mean?
NIMAT to Romeo arrival, landing.
Now, fair play to Josh. He's flat out busy there. But this is what he does. This is what VATSIM controllers do. Very fast. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
He's going to need a serious pint of Guinness after this one, lads. Do you know what I mean?
100. Continue the NIMA 2 Romeo arrival to runway 10 right, Firefly 505.
Firefly 003, fly heading 270 degrees.
So we're listening out.
Can you repeat that, Firefly 003?
Firefly 003, fly heading 270 degrees.
Heading 27. Can you repeat that again?
Now, while we're waiting, they're having their chat. Remember our ILS frequency for 10 right? Anyone remember it? 108.9er. That's all we're going to put in. 108.9 transfer. Our nav frequency is now put in for the ILS. That's important. Remember, stay ahead of the aircraft. My speed here is 180 knots, maintaining flight level 80.
Welcome, Firefly 0.
I'll probably speed up a little bit, but we'll leave it sit for the moment.
Firefly 505, clear direct to Adnal.
At this stage, we're making sure, yeah, lights are on, aircraft is doing what we want. And things will get super busy now in a moment, or it could be beautiful. We'll have to wait and
Firefly
see.
505, clear direct to Adnal.
You have to listen out for your call sign. If ATC ask you to do something and you haven't answered them, they'll get excited.
Firefly 505, confirm
Adnal,
direct to
that-
waypoint Adnal. Alpha Delta November Alpha Lima.
Direct to Adnal 55505.
Firefly 003, descent to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Some crack, lads, isn't it?
4000 Firefly 003.
Being vectored in.
QNH
Well, bro, did you get landed?
14, Firefly 0,
Brilliant.
003.
Mark Burton says, way back when...
Murph, by any chance are you showing up as 2 aircraft?
Shouldn't be. Negative. I can reset things on my side and try it again.
Yeah, the conflict alarm keeps going off.
Roger. Okay, let's see if that helps. Way back in time, says Mark, when getting the charts for swimming was difficult.
I can't tell if that's just MSFS traffic or if that's just you on a dupe.
I imagine it's MSFS, and I also have an aircraft at my 7 o'clock range, about 2 miles, who's not part of this group.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Thank you. Firefly 003, turn left heading 16.
2 targets. His aircraft on his mala head. What? At least in VATSIM, there may...
007, turn left heading...
At least in VATSIM, there may not be as many similar company aircraft. Correct.
Left to 1900.
You can understand what we're trying to instill here.
Firefly 308 to confirm established.
Firefly. What am I trying to say? Who is he talking to? You know what I mean?
Firefly 308, thank you. Contact Tower 418.6 about.
And again, see, hear the frequencies?
Thank you, bye.
You want to be writing stuff down.
305, you go on frequency?
+1 for the traffic at Murph's with the Red Dwarf reference. Indeed, I see what you did. Fiber Strike, good to see you. I might have had a pint, says Mark. That's okay. I might get to Dublin tomorrow. I'm rowing as fast as I can. Kazaki, you're
Firefly
on.
305, you on frequency?
So do we have Firefly 305? Not yet.
Firefly 007, descend to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Down to 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals, Firefly 007.
So we're heading straight.
505, descend.
We're heading straight to DTAX. This will be interesting to see where we go next.
Level 80, 55505.
So look, lads, I'm looking at my charts. That's how I'm getting all the answers, yeah? So here's DTAX. We already flagged it earlier. We're flying direct DTAX. What might we get after that? We could get Babin, Bivdi. We could get Delta Whiskey 755.
Firefly 003, resume navigation direct to Gannet, descend to altitude 3,000 feet.
Direct to Gannet.
Oslex.
003 at 3,000 feet.
Another gaming. This is
Firefly
the
305, you on
this is the TBM 850 from Black Square Simulations. Absolutely incredible. Lads, who's Firefly 305? Because if you're
Firefly 305, Dublin approach.
So if you're Firefly 305, you need to talk to Dublin Approach. They're looking for you. Bomb, ba-dum, bomb, bomb. That's Streeter. Where are you, Streeter?
007, resume navigation direct to Raker.
Resume navigation direct to Raker, Firefly 007.
So Streeter, we're trying to talk to you.
Firefly 305, Dublin approach.
So Streeter, if you're there, ATC are trying to get a hold of you, dude. He's in the right frequency. He's in the right ATC channel, so he might have an issue with his comms. So Dublin approach, Streeter, we can see him.
Firefly 003, clear down left approach from a 10 right, report established.
Let's see here now.
Firefly 003, roger. Cleared for ILS approach, runway 10 right, Firefly 003.
Firefly 235, descend flight level 70.
Descent flight level 70, Firefly 235. Down to 7 we go. 7.
Firefly 007, descend to altitude 3,000 feet, clear down left approach from a 10 right, report established.
Down to 3,000 feet, cleared for ILS runway 10 right. Will report when established. Firefly 007.
Firefly 505, turn left heading 250 degrees.
Turn left heading 250 degree. 55505.
Send out the
And Firefly
F-22s.
505, descent to altitude 3, cushion descent to altitude 4,000 feet.
So Streeter, if you can hear everyone now, just give him a call, because you're in his controlled airspace, so just give him a call, tell him where you are and what's happening.
55505.
And Firefly 505, just confirm QNH 1014 hectopascal.
QNH 10.
And again, by listening to ATC on other channels, you can say, hey, I know now what the QNH is. So it's all about trying to stay ahead of it, do you know what I mean?
Firefly 305, Dublin approach.
Firefly 305.
There we go.
Firefly 305, Dublin approach, hello, report current level.
So that's altitude.
Firefly 305 is at 1000 feet. 10,000 feet.
Firefly 305 identified, cleared NIMAT 2 Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend, flight level 80.
Cleared on the NIMAT. Sorry, repeat the arrival.
Firefly 305, cleared NIMAT 2 Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend.
So we're going to keep an eye on what we're doing. We're 7 minutes out from DTEX. We're taking our time. 7,000 feet, or flight level 70. Remember, whatever the local transition altitude is, anything below that, you refer to it as feet of altitude. So 5,000 feet, or altitude 5,000 feet. Anything above that transition level, you refer to it as flight level. All right? Below the transition, altitude in feet. Above, flight level.
505, turn left heading 180 degrees.
With my aircraft, you'll see heading bug is set to where I'm facing in case I get a heading.
505, descent to altitude.
Altitude is pinged at 7,000. 7,000. And I'm on the standard barrow setting
Firefly 007 is
because it's 6,000 where the transition is.
Firefly 007, roger, break. Firefly 003, confirm established.
Fly 003 must approach.
Firefly 003, roger, fly runway heading, maintain 4,000 feet.
Missed approach, F's in chat, it has to happen. Medic! There's also this is where also worksheets or even a notepad is so important. Yes, so important.
Tower on 118.
This isn't to scare the crap out of you now.
Thanks, good night.
It kind of is, but do you know what I mean? It's all about
Firefly 505,
this is what happens. You know? Bernardo, welcome in. Thank you, Magnum. It's an array of science with GoXLRs and a blue Ember mic. And a very softly spoken Irish accent. Don't you know?
5505.
What are you talking about?
Firefly 505, it's Raker, Romeo Alpha, Quebec, Alpha Romeo.
Raker, yeah. 55505, thank you.
Is it getting there?
Firefly 003, following the must approach procedure.
Firefly 003, turn left heading 36.
Englewood, good man yourself. It is fun. For a lot of people, it's like, right?
Firefly 003,
but you'll pick it up.
Turn left.
Practice is everything, yeah? Practice is everything.
0 degrees.
There will be feedback, there will be notes, but
Firefly 003,
that's the point of all this. We're trying to figure it all out together, so.
Heading north.
So we're nearly at Dexton. I'm trying to take my time to help out what's ahead of me.
60 degrees.
Let's see what happens. So we'll try and predict what's going to happen ahead of us, right? So we're coming in along here. We're going to be heading up to DTAX. Then it'll be Bermo. Or ATC might clear us direct to Oslex, or he might give us vectors. Highly unlikely.
Firefly 305, fly heading to.
Highly unlikely you're going to get the full arrival. Highly unlikely when ATC are online. They don't need to scatter you out all that far. And like in the real world, you know, this would be so handy for the airliners not to have to go all this long way around. They save fuel. They're laughing. Do you know what I mean? Look at the view. Isn't it only gorgeous?
Please not lost my flight plane.
Firefly 003 second.
I lost my flight plane. Fly 003.
Okay, 003 lost his flight plan.
Firefly 003. Roger. Plan for the ILS approach. Runway 10 right.
So see how ATC have to react to that?
Heading 3.
So he can't go by his flight plan, you know.
Then left 0.
I'll need to jump on here and let him know.
Degrees, runway 10 right. Firefly 003.
Firefly 235 overhead DTAX flight level 70.
Firefly 235 Roger.
Grant, we continue on.
Firefly 505 cleared ILS approach. Runway 10 right. Report established.
55505.
This is going to be a great VOD to watch back. Just put like a bit of paper over my face, as in, right, you don't need to watch my head, but listen to what's happening.
Firefly 305 descent to altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascal.
Descend to flight level 3000 feet.
Down in front, yeah, the route is wrong. I didn't do any of this right.
1014.
Good to see you down in front.
Firefly 305.
Firefly 003 descend to altitude 3000 feet.
Descending to flight level 3000. Firefly 003.
We continue on.
55505.
Another handy thing to remember is listen to what instruction planes are in front of you.
505.
100%. Now, lads,
Firefly 505.
again,
I'm sorry, I stepped on you. Say again.
Again, listen to how the flow of communication. If you're very slow talking, ATC are trying to anticipate.
Firefly 305, turn left.
If you're too fast, they'll also speak fast. So try and work on the flow, which is not going to be easy. If English isn't your normal, native language, you're going to have a challenge, So just try and practice it. It might sound like there's a lot of different conversations going on. You're only focused on what you need to know. And most of this stuff, over time, it's quite repetitive. They have to follow steps A, B, C, and D. Do you know what I mean? And it's unique to, it's the same in every airport. Very same.
Firefly 305, resume navigation direct to Gannett.
Resume navigation direct to Gannett. Firefly 305.
Firefly 505, contact tower, promenade 8.6, right.
So we're rolling, and we're still on our approach. So depending on what's happening in front of us, it's all ahead.
Firefly 305, resume our navigation.
I'm only texting. It works
Gannett.
nice most often on the ATC. Yeah, 100%.
Resume navigation direct to Gannett. Firefly 305.
Straight out of the pub and talking to ATC, be like talking speed reading. Yeah, absolutely.
Good evening, Dublin approach. This is Firefly 006, 10 nautical miles southeast of Vatry, requesting to join the zone for entry to ILS 10 right at Dublin.
Firefly 006, Dublin approach allow identified, cleared Vatry to Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend flight level 160.
Clear to Vatry, descend to flight level 160. Sorry, could you repeat again?
Firefly 006, Vatry to Romeo arrival, descend flight level 160.
Clear to Vatry to for the Romeo R2 arrival. Descend to flight level 160. Firefly 006.
So I'm just keeping an eye on what I have to do ahead of me. I'm coming up to Bivdy, 7,220 knots maximum speed. We're okay for the moment. English not being native language is an extra barrier, but with some practice, just, yeah, 100%. But like...
Firefly 235, turn right heading 325.
Right heading 325, Firefly 235.
Firefly 003, turn left heading 240 degrees.
Heading Vogue, 325.
003, turn left 240
Heading mode
degrees,
engaged.
Firefly 003.
And let's go to 3.
Dublin approach, Firefly 3003.
Firefly 303, Dublin approach below report, correction report level.
Passing, we are 5 miles DME from Vatry at flight level 180.
31.
Firefly 303, Dublin approach identified, cleared Vatry 2 Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right.
So we're heading
flight level
325. Maintaining altitude. Bring our speed down a smidgen, just so we don't get cut out. I'll also pop in the inertial separator so I don't forget it.
On the Vatry 2 Romeo arrival to runway 10 right. Could you repeat the rest of the
heading mode is on.
Firefly 003, correction, Firefly 303, descend flight level 160.
Descend flight level 160, Firefly 303.
Firefly 003, turn left heading 190 degrees.
So let's have a look at what he's doing.
Firefly 003, turn left.
He's turned us right.
1.
He's bringing us over to Oslex.
Can you repeat it?
So see the way he's not flying us all the way around?
003, turn left heading 190.
He could have said go direct Oslex, but he's going to give us vectors instead.
0 degrees, Firefly 003.
Pretty handy. That's why some Italian or French controllers will give you a direct 2 at the end. Yeah, yeah. From what I'm hearing, lads, this is very, very good. From what I'm hearing. Yes, there are a couple of things
Dublin approach,
to work
Firefly 207, 5 miles Vatry.
So far, so good.
Firefly 207, Dublin approach below report level.
Firefly 207, flight level 160.
Firefly 207, roger, call you back to break. Firefly 305, cleared ILS approach runway 10 right, report established.
Sounds good.
Cleared for approach, runway 10 right. Will contact when established.
Firefly 003, resume navigation direct to Gannett.
Resume navigation direct to Gannett, Firefly 003.
Firefly 235, descent altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Descent flight level down to 5,000 feet, QNH 1014 hectopascals. Firefly 235. I made a mess of that.
Firefly 207, cleared Vatry 2 Romeo arrival, landing
down to
runway
5.
10 right, maintain flight level 160.
And we're going to go through the transition, so we're going to go
Firefly 207,
1014.
for VAT 2 Romeo approach for runway 10 left. Maintain flight level 160, QNH 1014 hectopascals.
Firefly 207, confirm runway 10 right.
Confirm runway 10 right. Apologies.
Okay.
Hello there.
Hello there. Who is this? Ollie Roberts, welcome in, Ollie. Good to see you.
Runway 10
10
right.
miles from Vatry with on approach.
That was 2 stations at once. Break Firefly 003, cleared ILS approach runway 10 right, report established.
And remember, lads, allow the conversations to end.
003 will report for runway 10 right when established Firefly 003.
Firefly 235, resume navigation direct to Raker.
Resume navigation direct Raker for Firefly 235.
Firefly 305, contact tower 118.6 about.
Tower on 118.6. Goodbye.
Ooh, he's not giving us Raker. This is going to be funny. Where's Raker, Merv? Quick, check the chart. Raker, where was Raker? It's on the approach. Raker
Firefly
is
303, descend flight level 80.
Descend flight level 80, Firefly 303.
Firefly 006, descend flight level 80.
Right turn.
Descend flight level 80, Firefly 006.
Firefly 235, descend to altitude 3,000 feet, cleared ILS approach runway 10 right, report established.
Descend altitude 3,000 feet, clear for the ILS, will report when fully established. Firefly 235.
Firefly 006, clear direct to Oslex.
Down to 3. Down
Clear
you
direct
go.
to Oxlex, Firefly 006.
V-speed. Not too much, Murph. 1,000 will do it. Right, let's see.
Approach.
So he gave us direct Rackar. Can't find Rackar on my gadget, but that's okay.
Battery at 8
We're heading there
at
now.
Flight level 80.
Firefly 202, Dublin approach allow identified, cleared VATSIM to Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, maintain flight level 80.
Let's see, can I put this in
Runway
manually?
10 right approach.
Oslex.
FFA 202.
Add a waypoint. Will that work? I think that'll work. So Oslex, and then we're head to Rackar. I can see Rackar dead ahead. We're descending nicely. Speed is coming down. I have the ILS tuned in, so we will go to
Firefly
approach mode
303, clear direct
momentarily.
to Oslex.
Clear direct to Oslek. Firefly 3.
Speed is good. Altitude is good.
Firefly 003, establish on a localizer.
Yeah, great.
Firefly 003, thank you. Contact tower from 8.6 about.
Contacting tower 118.6.
Don't forget your call sign. So if I go to approach, I think, is it? Approach will be the ILS for 10 right. We're going to load. Where are you taking me now, machine? There we go. Rackar. And we're going to go nav and spin us to the right there now, please, Jemima. Don't go to IFBAB. Don't go to IFBAB. Don't go to IFBAB. Jesus Murphy. Gannet. Direct. There we go. It was a small little turn, but we're grand. What if it goes wrong and it flies directly through your brain? That can happen. That can happen. Oh, me hand. There we go. Coming back on here now. I'm going to go approach mode. Approach mode. Approach mode. Watch the turn. We're now coming in direct at Gannet, and then we're going to call when we are established on the localizer. So 3,000 feet is looking good, speed is looking good, nice and calm, and we have Dublin ahead of us. And this is pretty much, once we straighten up, it's going to be pretty much in for a landing over there. So approach mode, we're just tightening up, just to show you. So I didn't load the approach in, that's my bad. So Rackar, I gave myself a direct to Rackar, and then we're going to head in this way here. So we should be establishing in and around kind of Gannet, I would say, roughly. That's where that star is. So Gannet is when we're expecting to get onto the localizer. Airplane is just a little bit off to one side, but we're okay. It's going to straighten itself up here now. If a flying airliner or mostly request via CPDLC, yeah, you can. Massive shout out to Josh for getting to space and very, very professional. I know, right? And I would say he's half jaded, but he's doing a great job. Cracking job. Cracking job. So approach mode is activated. I'm just waiting until we get to Gannet, and then everything here is going to start coming alive, I would think.
Hello there.
So we're on GPS. Going to go nav, RNAV, MLS, ADF, localizer. There we go. So localizer is coming up. You can see that I'm way off on one side and a little bit high. But again, we can fly this aircraft. Such are the, such are the avionics with this airplane. It's absolutely incredible. Now, final course to the runway. Diddly-doo.
Firefly 006, descend, flight level 70.
09 or 7.
Descend to flight level 70, Firefly 006.
So I'm just waiting for me approach to lock.
303, descend, flight level
Approach is now
70.
locked. We're now established, so we're going to call up.
Flight level 70, Firefly 303.
Firefly 207, descend, flight level 80.
Descend to flight level 808, Firefly 207.
Firefly 202, clear direct to Oslex.
So again, you want to get your call in. Do you know what I mean?
Firefly 202 cleared direct to where?
Firefly 202, clear direct to Oslex.
Oscar Sierra
Cleared direct
Lima.
to Oslex.
Firefly 207, clear direct to Oslex.
Clear to Oslex, Firefly 207.
Firefly 235, fully established on the localizer for runway 10 right.
Firefly 235, thank you. Contact tower 118.6 away.
Over the tower 118.6, Firefly 235, thanks. Dublin Tower, Firefly 235, established on the localizer runway 10 right.
Firefly 235 Dublin Tower, hello. Surface wind 14 degrees 4 knots. Runway 10 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 10 right for Firefly 235.
Firefly 235, sorry, that's my mistake. Runway 10 right, continue approach.
Continue approach, runway 10 right, Firefly 235. Oh, they're going to throw something at me, I can sense it. Oh. Is there traffic ahead of me? We don't know. How's their speed looking? We're on the descent. Not your flaps there, please, Jacinta. Now, we go around here is going to be friggin' hilarious, so let's arm.
Located
Firefly 00.
Quick, bring up
Firefly 00, roger. Taxi Whiskey 2 into the West Apron, stand of choice. Good evening.
Climb straight ahead above 4,000 feet.
Whiskey 2, Firefly 00.
So I'm getting the missed approach dialed in, right?
Firefly 00, just to confirm, into the West Apron, stand of choice. Good evening.
Slow it down there now, Betsy. 2,000 feet. Ah, Jesus. Go around, infinite hold, divert to Cork.
Firefly 003.
Firefly 235, surface wind 14 degrees 4 knots. Runway 10 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 10 right, Firefly 235. Okay, so during all the crack, I'm gearing myself up for a missed approach. It's busy, and you have to plan it. I'm at the outer marker, gear down, continue in. Having your chart right beside you, you're reading missed approach, climb straight ahead, Delta Whiskey 031, maximum 200 knots, turn right. So this is the missed approach look. So I have an idea, I know what to do if things go wrong, right? Famous last words and all, but sure, we'll get the idea here now in a second, right? Okay, watch your speed now. Quick check of the plane. Gear down and locked. Flaps are set. And we continue on in. Crocs, thank you very much for subscribing. Great name. Great name. I was completely unprepared for a go around. That would have been interesting. That's always expect it, lads. Always expect it. Because if you're not stable, you got to call it. If they have a problem, you know, they're going to call it. You know what I mean? Okay, we're visual.
Hello there.
I'm going to fly this manually. Autopilot off my airplane and let's ramble in. Watch your speed. Approach flaps are set. Rad Baron is not stable. Now what? If you're not stable, you go around. It's very pretty out here. Shag off, Gibbo. Little bit of wind kicking in. Easy does it now, Murph. 500. Thank you very much indeed. Jazani, welcome in. Live alone, Murph. Never crash on VATSIM. 300 knots. Lads, watch your speed. Maximum 220 in these neck of the woods under 10,000 feet. And then 250. Oh, it's bumpy here coming in. Look at this. Approaching decision height. Landing. Easy. There's my decision height. Continue in. Probably won't need reverses on this.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Ah, Jesus, Hemingward. Every time. Every time. Alright, easy does a Murph. Down you get your devil. Nothing like a stutter just on friggin' short final. You big muppet, I bounced that. The shame. Jesus. There's Beta. Jesus, that was painful. Look at the stutters right at the end. Horrible stuff. Horrible, horrible stuff. Out of Beta. Flaps in. Hang your head in shame, Murphy. Boomsy daisy, right?
Firefly 235, vacate Sierra 2, Whiskey 2.
We'll vacate on Sierra 2, Whiskey 2, Firefly 235.
Hello there.
Don't judge that landing.
Don't judge me giving you landing clearance whilst the plane's still on the moving off.
Brilliant.
Hello there.
Jesus, this video would have been brilliant to like keep as a VOD, but now I have to edit out that entire part where they bounced. Where they bounced, lads, right? Nick, thank you for the follow. Dev Core Stream, welcome in. Thank you for the follows, lads. Right, you blithering Egypt. Taxi light on. Get onto Whiskey 2. Transponder, put it back onto on. And Firefly 235 on Whiskey 2. Request parking West Apron.
Look at this big
Firefly 235, taxi Whiskey 2 into the West Apron, stand of choice. See ya.
Whiskey 2, West Apron, stand of choice. Firefly 235. See ya. Jesus. Definite recreation of my bouncing landing today, right? Colonel Fork is here. It's good to see you. Just blame the stutters. There was stutters. You saw them. You saw the stutters. They were real, lads. They were real, right? Look at the fancy mappage here, look. Ooh. So we're going to be turning left here on Whiskey 2. Look at the crowd of people here, look. Look at those Firefly Air liveries. Look at the state of them. Beautiful. Too late, you've been measured. You have been judged.
Dude, have you been drinking? I have, Ted.
Oh, Scott.
I've been drinking like a mad Egypt.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. VATSIM is almost easier, as I'm not also trying to watch this fella on stream. It's totally fine. It's grand, lads. Totally fine. Where am I parking? Away from them big lads. I'll go down here. Where it's all grand and quiet. Is Microsoft adding stutters lately in preparation for Sim Update 15, which it said to reduce stutters? Martel, I think you and I agreed the same conspiracies. Let's make the simulator positively worse for a week or two leading up to the Sim Update, and then release it and just restore it to what it was like before that. You know what I mean? Brilliant. How are we looking? We're doing all right.
Hello there.
Hello there. And we get ourselves taxied off. Who be this? Alpha Bravo Tango, you're very welcome in. Thank you for the follow, dude. Right, I'm going to park up here now on 614 right. I'm still trying to get a hang of radios in the Herc. Can't seem to manage enable mode C. Mode C will work automatically with VATSIM, Colonel Fork. If you have auto connect mode C, you're laughing. So you can turn your transponder on. It just doesn't do kind of altitude reporting. But on VATSIM, you have the setting to put it on mode C. Right, park it. Oh look, it's telling us to go further, but it obviously doesn't see the Swissport parking vehicle. So I'm going to park it here. And let's go into some stuff. Go ahead and okay that. Taxi lights are off. Strobe, beacon, leave that on. Right, what are we doing here now? So it's going to be an engine shutdown, lads. So avionics, they did a great job. Well done to me, avionics. Peter heat off, that off. This guy off. This guy off. And this guy off. Alright, alright. Ignition off, starter's already off. Bleeds off. Fuel pump off. Lights off. We're looking good. We're looking good. Finish the separator. Get that closed up. Next, I need to figure out how to get the gyropilot to track a VOR. Ooh. Yeah, we'll need to check that one out, Colonel Fork, for sure, for sure. Okay, generator off. These guys off. These guys off. Just let that inertial separator fully close. There it is. And battery off. And the bar off. Sweet. Out you get, you big Jesse. Welcome to Dublin. Did we have fun? Okay, right, so I'm going to jump back into the approach channel and have a listen, right? Because Josh still has a few. So Dublin approach. Now, I won't be chatting here, but the whole idea is keep an eye on what's...
Can you repeat?
Keep an eye on what's happening.
Firefly 207, resume navigation back to Gannet.
Resume navigation to Gannet.
Mm.
Firefly 207.
Firefly 303, resume navigation back to Gannet.
Resume navigation to Gannet. 55303.
Now, we'll have a now listen here and look at the scope.
Firefly 006, are you happy to continue with the approach?
Hey, Grizzle, you're very welcome
negative,
in.
would like to go
Welcome to the panic that is ATC. Hope you guys had a fantastic stream. You just joined us, so we've done a couple of flights. We've done Edinburgh to Dublin, and we've done Bristol to Dublin. And I'm going to jump onto a Dublin...
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Welcome in. Thanks for the shout out, Muse.
ILS 10 right.
Now, I'm just trying to see, can I see traffic? Yes, I can. So I can see traffic on the ground. And can I see traffic inbound? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Ah, okay. So we have a couple of guys moving, right? So I can see Firefly 208. Don't know who that is. Is 208 our last arrival, lads? Let's see now. 208. The last one in.
Hello there.
So we're looking at the scope here. You're all very welcome. Hope you had a great stream. And well, as I said, we're here checking out some ATC stuff. So we're working on a course designed to kind of break the ice of learning some ATC voice communication. This prepares folks to jump onto VATSIM, right? And I didn't know I can use that button. Fix that, Murph. So we're on the ground here at Dublin, and we had two groups. The first group departed from Edinburgh, and the second group departed out of Bristol. So we have a couple of guys who are just waiting to come in to land. We have VATSIM controllers working with us, and the whole point of this is to learn. So if you'd like, do head on over to twotonemurphy.com. Over there, there is a comprehensive ground school document, you see. And well, what you can do, you can follow along with all of the courses that we've done, all of the lessons that we've done. And we actually started off with VFR flight training last year. And it focuses on the ATC element of when you're flying, right? There's a lot going on here. And like, to give you an idea, you'll kind of see, you know, abbreviations, how to do radio checks, ATIS, airspaces, charts, how to do your flight plans, all of this stuff, right? Then it goes into uncontrolled airports, what to do, when to do it, where to do it, why to do it, so on and so on. All right. And then we jump on to the IFR stuff, which is for this year. And that covers everything from our phraseology, communication, adapting to changes. That could be like the difference between flying in Europe and also in the US, right? And then our lessons. So lesson, what one? Lesson 6, lesson 5, holding and missed approaches. Wait, now, did I upload the wrong document tonight? I probably, oh no, here we are. Jesus, no, we're not. I need to edit that. See, I make mistakes. So lesson 7 is what we're on tonight. And just to give you an idea, look, on these lessons, I do out a full script of what you say and what ATC might say. And it's all about learning the script of how it all works. Go arounds, misapproaches, the whole lot. So this one here is what we're working on tonight. Where are we at now? 207 and 030. Great crack. We even told you about Topic Climb. Wait, Rambog, what to do? What did I do? This IFR course is hands down the best intro VATSIM I've ever seen. It's a blast and enabled me to overcome my fears. Awesome job. Ah, thanks, Dougal. Nice. Sounds like a lovely time. Grizzle, some crack. But lads, I hope you had a great stream. You're very welcome in. And, well, welcome in. Our Discord, if you want to learn more about this, or just head on over to the website. This entire document is for free. And I hope you find something useful in it. As I said, we cover lessons. We cover the whole lot. And this course, well, it's progressing nicely, so we're doing fairly all right. So I just want to dive into the scope here to see where everyone is. So we have Firefly 208 over here. Englewood, thank you very much indeed. Gifting a tier 1 sub. Look at that, you absolute legend. Thank you very much indeed. So let's have a look. DeMarco, thank you very much indeed for the follow. Good to see you. Englewood gifted 2 tier 1 subs. You mad lad. Thank you very much. The inbounds are Group B, the one heading to Vatry. Yeah, so we've one here. This is Firefly 208. These are the guys, they're not us. Now again, the infrastructure that we're using, we're able to track Microsoft Flight Sim's aircraft. Not by, using an external connector or whatever else. We can use Xbox pilots. If you're on Xbox, you would appear in our scope. It's the first time this has ever happened. But currently what's happening, we have ATC approach on Dublin, and they're going to be vectoring the lads in, and then they go over to Dublin Tower, and they'll give them a landing. We also had ATC active in Edinburgh and below at Bristol. Big shout out to Gibbo and to Rambog, and it's Josh and Adam looking after us here in Dublin. So far so good. There will be feedback for sure. Couple of issues, nothing major. 1 or 2 guys might need to focus on other elements and really hammer down the procedures, speed restrictions, how to report altitude, and just following what you're being asked to do. So one thing is, like, if you're given an instruction to maintain an altitude, regardless of what your aircraft is telling you what to do, because it's following, a star, do what ATC tell you to do. They say maintain altitude 5,000 feet, but you're looking at your star and your FMS is saying I should be at 3,000. Doesn't matter. You stick to what ATC are telling you. That is vitally important, lads. Vital, right? So everything that we've covered so far, it's all recorded on YouTube. You'll see all the videos, all the VODs are there. You'll get a full handle on what's happening. Even if you go back to the very first episode, all the streams are there. So it's only a matter of, putting up with me. But listen back, I'm sure you'll learn something, and feedback is always welcomed. Like even last week, I was I'm not a controller at all, by the way. I was controlling lads in approach, and I was handing them over to Dublin Tower when they get established instead of keeping them with me. So I've edited the document to fix it. I'm only human, I'll make mistakes. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a handful, but it was great practice. Thanks to the guys at Dublin. Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, lads. The idea, throw you off a little bit. And the feedback, I'm going to try and get as much feedback as I can off the lads. Then I can go to you guys individually and say, okay, look, these are the things we saw tonight. This is what happened that shouldn't have. These are the things you need to work on or have a look at. And now we're getting good, positive feedback that we can go back and try it again. If that makes sense. But it should make sense because, I said it. That makes sense. But anyway, how are we getting on? So we have Dublin approach is still on. Dublin Tower, we got a couple of people in there, which is nice. So we're just waiting on, well, a couple of more aircraft due in. He's not one of us. Firefly 208, 140. What's 208 flying? Is that Eamon? Eamon, what are you flying, Eamon? There's someone jumping in. It sounds like Eamon. So we'll go in here now and have a look.
Established 55006.
Vision jet. Grand. So you won't be too long. Rev it up there now, Betsy. Power to the metal. Power to the metal? Pedal to the metal.
And Firefly 207 looks like you're going to be a little bit higher. Are you happy to continue the approach?
Yep, we will do that. Continue approach.
Firefly 207.
Firefly 207.
Contact tower from an 8.6.
Contact tower on 118.7.
Firefly 206 negative from an 8.6.
Firefly 208, 10 nautical miles from Vatry.
Okay, so even I've just jumped in here to listen. Read back what you're being asked and then make sure ATC are finished with you. So what's after happening there, the last pilot incorrectly read back the frequency and then he legged it. Okay, over to 118.7, bye, off he went. And now ATC are like, no, that was wrong. You're gone to the wrong frequency. That's the sort of stuff that'll get you in trouble on VATSIM. Forget the real world for the minute. That'll get you in trouble on VATSIM because you're not giving enough time. Don't rush ahead of it. Make sure you fully understand what's happening. So in this course, we know what the frequencies are. We're using Discord. That's fairly straightforward. All about your radio telephony. So anyone who's struggling with how to speak and how they're speaking, you gotta look at radio telephony. Figure out, how do you speak?
Turn right to 070, descend to 3000.
And Firefly 208, confirm Vatry to Romeo arrival, landing runway 10 right, descend flight level 80.
Could you repeat that, please? Firefly 208.
Firefly 208, cleared Vatry to Romeo arrival.
So here the way ATC are slowing things way down, right? But again, if you're looking at your route, you should know, like the whole idea here is, lads, you need to predict what's going to happen. So all ATC is doing, he's just confirming what you've already filed for. It's the VATR to Romeo arrival for runway 10 right. And then after that, he's going to say, right, I want you down to this altitude at this speed. So Vatry 2 Romeo, he needs to confirm it.
Vatry 2 Romeo arrival, correct.
That's it. So the controller will go back and keep challenging you because they need to make sure you know what's happening.
Heading cleared ILS approach 10 right, report established.
Do you know what I mean? They need to know that you know. If you don't know it and you bug off, like that leads to problems. It's vital. If you only read back half the story to ATC, but they don't know, you know it. You know what I mean? So Josh said 3 or 4 times to that last pilot, confirm the Vatry 2 Romeo. And he went off and he said other things. He forgot the Vatry 2 Romeo. So Josh had to keep challenging him to say, confirm this is what you're doing. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Of course it is. But you need to confirm it. So you need to read it back. Do you know what I mean? Abscon, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I imagine it's the same for any comm systems. Once you have the lingo down, it's easy. 100%. 100%. This might sound very over the top and, you know, Jesus, we can't figure all this out. You guys know this information. I know you know it because we've been doing this for the last 7 weeks. This is all about showing you tonight the difference of the calm and easy approach to this is a proper taste of what to expect. So hopefully at the end of this you'll say, okay, we're here and we need to get to here. That, at least then we can identify, right, that's all we need to do. Do you know what I mean? And we should be good with that, I'd say. They're doing very, very well. So let's go back into the scope. So let me see, 10 right. This is 10 right. So we can see 2 aircraft are on approach here. I think Eamon is further. Right now, where's Eamon? Eamon? I don't see Eamon. Oh, there's Eamon over there in a Vision Jet. So he's moving in quickly as well. So you see the approaches coming in. And like when you think about it, lads, right? The VATSIM crossed the pond. I think they had like 3,200 people flying. Multiple airports, I know that. But you get the idea. And if that's something that you'd love to do, this is the entry point to it. We got to start somewhere. Even the controllers tonight, Josh, Adam, you know, these lads had to start somewhere. And it's the same feeling for everyone. It's a level of anxiety. It's a holy mother, I have to do what? How do I say this? I can't, you know, I don't understand it, or you might get frustrated or whatever. We have to start from somewhere. And this is where you start. Everyone started here. Everyone, including Jamie. Now, yeah, Jamie did as well. And like, if you ever listen to Jamie Control, he's singing, dancing, talking to the chat, talking to ATC and flying at the same time. Madness. But, you know, miscommunication costs lives in theatres of combat. Indeed. It's all about getting the...
Thank you very much.
It's all about the communication.
006, contact tower, 118.6.
118.6, 55006.
So after you get the...
Flight 208, confirm direct or selects.
Okay, so he's there's 208 getting a direct to Oslex, right? But again, what you're listening to, when you're finished talking to ATC, always give it that extra couple of seconds before you leave the frequency. That's very important, yeah? Last thing you want to do is, okay, thanks, bye, next. Like, let the experience build up a little bit. Now, if we were to jump into tower, well, it'd be a lot more busier now because you've 2 inbound aircraft, and me looking at these, unless I'm very, very wrong, I think they're too close. One of these guys are going to get a go around if they're not being too careful. Right? I think. So you Firefly 006 and then you Firefly 002. Right? He's at 130 knots. He's at 160 knots. This is going to be a problem. There's going to be a go around here. Let's listen. What's the distance? I could be very wrong. Oh, maybe we're okay. Kazaki, you gotta really slow that divil down, man. So by the time, you know, the TBM gets down, Kazaki's right behind him. He could be okay. So just watch the spacing. Remember, lads, if you give ATC a headache, you know, they're going to just return the favor with interest. Go around. I'm running out of fuel. Oh, well. Do you know what I mean? And again, anyone who's flown tonight, if you're walking away feeling very, very good that everything went exactly according to plan, well, chances are it did, right? And but that's just a great success. Anyone who, you know, after tonight feels, do you know, it was a great eye opener, but like I felt I didn't do it exactly right. Well, that was the objective. That's the objective. So you know, I don't want anyone feeling sorry or feeling upset or whatever. The objective here is to say, right, we're going to dip our toes into, you know, as close to what VATSIM is going to be like. And it might scare some people, sure, but don't worry. Like it's we now know, right, that's the direction we need to, you know, that's the destination. How do we get there? And between this week and next week, our plan is to get us there. Do you know what I mean? And if anyone's absolutely struggling and they're just like proper struggling, don't know what to do or how to do it.
Firefly 006 vacate Sierra 2, Whiskey 2, no delay.
No delay, hear
Sierra
that?
2, Whiskey 2, no delay, Firefly 006.
Brilliant!
Firefly 202, expect late landing clearance.
Oh!
FFA 202, expect late landing clearance.
Oh, it's only happening now. He got off at Sierra 2. He got off at Sierra 2.
Firefly 006 vacated.
So that's
a break. Firefly 202, surface wind 14 degrees 4 knots, runway 10 right, clear to land.
You get the idea. That's actually great to see. Great job there with Firefly. Who was it? 002?
006. Thanks for that. Taxi C.
006. So Firefly 006 did a great job. He made that happen fast. Controllers appreciate that.
Firefly 006.
They appreciate that. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, brilliant. You helped me out and wonderful. So where's me? He was direct to Oslex, wasn't he? Where's he now? Here he is here, look. No, he's not. Here he is here. Okay, he's not too far out. Who's this guy? He's heading out the way. Okay, so Firefly 208. He's well on the way in. He's our last arrival. So we're on Dublin shower frequency at the moment, so we should be grand. And we're just waiting on approach. So approach is going to give... He'll probably give a speedy entry here now because our traffic is pretty much all but in. But lads, anyone who flew the route tonight, let's just talk to the Group A pilots. The Group A pilots who flew tonight. You know, in a sentence, if you can you let us know here in the chat, what was your feedback? Did you enjoy it? Was it an eye-opener? Did you struggle? And it's okay. Like, if you struggled, that's okay. Right? Martel says, after contacting Dublin Approach, can I reduce my speed or do I have to request it? Ideally, you want to be pretty much where you need to be at before, but you can always request it. Request decel to whatever. You can kind of move it. You can bring your speed down a little bit. Unless ATC have said maintain this speed, right? You can start slowing down. If you're going too slow, ATC will give you a shout and say, hey, keep up the pace. Do you know what I mean? Speed, not as important as altitude. Don't change your altitude unless it's okay with ATC. Right? Dougal says, struggled with ground clearances, but that's good practice. Brilliant course. Awesome. Newsfan said, really enjoyed it. I still sometimes struggle to know when to be reporting when on Unicom, but other than that, I'm mostly getting the hang of it. Brilliant. Larger Life says, yeah, you have to forget VNav on arrival completely. You should use VS instead. 100%. Remember, ATC are telling you what to do. When we don't have ATC, we can put it on VNav and auto land, and it's all wonderful. If ATC are telling us what to do, we gotta do what they're asking us to do, you know? We expect you to fly your filed airspeed, 100%. But if you're now like below 10,000, you're gonna have constraints there, yeah? Sterling says, great fun. I found the arrival and approach less hectic than it seemed on the radio. Just listening for the call sign and directions and just did as told. That's it, man. That's exactly what you do. Awesome stuff.
202, taxi, whiskey 2, into the west apron, stand of choice. Good evening.
Taxiing whiskey 2 to parking. I can't see, it's dark.
I can't see, it's dark. You need a flashlight. The controllers are brilliant. Considering we kind of threw the two lads into the deep end. We threw the lads into the deep end so far as, you know, they're using our system, which is not necessarily like VATSIM. There's issues. There's limitations what we can drag out of the sim, right? So they've had to adapt what they do usually. And again, they're dealing with kind of, you know, the learner pilots. That's always a challenge, right? It's always a challenge. You know? So we have a Vision Jet on approach. He's holding 4,000 feet. Kudos to the controllers. Yeah. Brilliant ATC. GSX pushed me across the taxiway. Larger Life, that's the thing. Like, it's you need to know the add-ons, the aircraft. You need to know this stuff before you even go near VATSIM, because once it starts doing something you don't want it to do, you have a problem. You have a problem, you know? And again, if you're, you know, think of your starting point. Don't spawn in on a stand that requires you, you know, a very complex taxi. Plan easy, you know? Newsfan says, yeah, the expected approach may not be what you expected. The approach controller can vector you off the planned course to help spacing. Yeah, always expect that. And it's great that you've seen it now tonight, you know? That and the guy's accents and speed of speech, you have to get used to it as well, 100%. Never experienced it in GSX. Murphy's Law. It can happen, you know? But if it happens, you know? It's put it down to a challenge, you know? Clearance great. The GA were brilliant on Unicom. We knew where we all were. Approach of spacing and tower gave awesome ATC. Nice. You know, that's what we want to hear, lads, you know? That's what we want to hear. But like, lads, the whole point of this, if you walk away from it thinking, Jesus, you know, I struggled, that's kind of where we need to be at, because we now have something to work on to say, okay, you know, we need to focus on the following areas. And that might even involve us maybe creating new groups. We might have new groups for next week. Roll on next week, you're loving it. Practice makes permanent. Yes, exactly. And that's what it's all about. Like, anyone who might have struggled heavily there tonight, well, we're going to do our best to make sure you don't struggle the next time. We're going to really work and try and figure out where the issues are. And if it means you just got to read over the script, do the flight again offline, but, you know, read the script, jump into a shared cockpit, you know, ask someone to join you in using your controls. We have the voice channels there. Give it a shot. You know, practice it a little bit. And any issues that you were having, I guarantee you, they'll be all sorted. They'll be all sorted. You know?
Dougal, have you been drinking? I have, Ted. I've been drinking like a mad idiot.
Speak double Dutch and you'll be grand. Yeah. I flew the route yesterday and threw in a hold and a go around just to be prepared. Lads, that's exactly what you do. especially starting out. Like if you're on VATSIM and you were planning a flight, look what's like. Yous all watch Dave 757 Spy. Yous all watch Dave, right? Dave flew the departure and the arrival airports for his VATSIM cross the pond, leading up to cross the pond. He flew them before he had to fly them. So he's familiar with the airspace, familiar with the waypoints. He gets a good idea of what's around, visual reference points or whatever. That's what you do. That's what you do. You keep practicing. And again, if you get the chance, jump onto VATSIM on observer mode and listen to what's going on. Just listen. Record it. You know, when you're going to bed, listen to it. What are you listening tonight? I am listening to ATC, dear. And she'll give you a look and she just won't be bothered and let you at it. Right? It'll happen. It'll happen. Now, Eamon, Jesus, Eamon's very high looking, isn't he? Delivery, I think, is now done. Or is it? No. He's still on approach, so he's not just yet with... I'd say he's been... There he is. I'd say he's heading in now until he is on the localizer, which won't be long. What's the speed? Oh, Jesus. What's the speed? Are you doing 270 knots, Eamon? Because that's going to end in tears if you are. Remember, slow it down. Larger Life did the flight before the stream? Yeah. I bet he's thinking of... Muse, brilliant. Brilliant. So, Eamon, you're moving fairly lively. Slower right down, boss. And that's not good. That looks like a go around. Let's have a listen.
And Firefly 20 looks like a little bit high. Are you want to make a visual approach or you want to be brought back in for another approach?
I'll make a visual. I'll get down.
Firefly 20, roger. Clear the visual approach. Contact tower from an 8.6 of it.
Cleared visual. Contact tower. Need to contact tower. Remember, lads, read them back. Read them back, yeah? He hasn't jumped yet. Eamon, you need to contact tower. There he goes.
Firefly 208.
Firefly 208, Dublin Tower, hello. Surface wind 14 degrees 4 knots. Runway 10 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 104 knots.
Okay. As I said, if you've walked away from tonight going, Jesus, I can't. Trust me, that's a good thing. It's a good thing because we can work on it. Eamon has arrived at Dublin. Brilliant. It's the rush of stuff to the head, right? I mean, in your mind, you're thinking everything's grand, everything's perfect, right? That's in your mind, that's what you're thinking. And then when you go to do it, it all goes terribly wrong. Right? But don't worry. Don't worry. This is where you learn it. And like the only way you're going to learn it is by doing it. There's no other way you're going to learn it. You got to do it, right? So if, as I said, all the feedback we'll have tonight, we'll come up with a plan then to say, right, we're going to get maybe group A is going to be this group, group B is going to be that group, and we're going to try and work on them. We're going to try and work on that. And the challenges that you guys might be having or the areas that you know you want to kind of work on, if you think you can do better, that's what we'll focus on. All right. So, I think we're kind of looking good now. We're all in. So, let me see. Run Dublin Tower.
Whiskey 2 into the West Apron, stand of choice. Good evening.
Whiskey 2, stand of choice. Firefly 208.
Okay, he's down. And here's the thing, right? As bad or as good as you think you did, you still managed to fly from one airport on ATC and land, regardless of how good or bad it went. It doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. That's yeah. Again, that's Whiskey 1. Yeah, so he's So he's on the wrong taxiway. And like it's just to explain, right? There's logic behind this. The reason why that's happened is the instruction he was given was Sierra 2, Whiskey 2, but he went straight on. This all comes back to prior planning and preparation. That's what it comes down to. And experience, right? When you start learning the place a little bit better, like that nearly caught me out. I was like, oh, Jesus, be careful. We got to turn here onto Whiskey 2. You know what I mean? So again, it comes back down to how familiar you are with the airports and with what's happening ahead of you. If you feel yourself that you're struggling too much with all of this, that means that you're not fully confident or confident in the aircraft that you're flying. No other reason. Do you know what I mean? If you know that airplane inside and out, you can get it to do what you want it to do when you want to do it. Well, then it's amazing how much clarity you start getting when it comes to the ATC stuff and the navigation stuff. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where it's at. But excellent stuff. I'll jump in there and we'll get a bit of feedback here if we can from Gibbo, Rambog, and the two lads. So I'll bounce them here now. Hello everyone, and we'll just do a quick bit of feedback there if we can. We've Gibbo, Rambog, Josh, and Adam, and we'll start with Gibbo. Gibbo, how'd you fare out?
What's going on, Murph? Well, I had the easy job. Edinburgh is great.
Did you wait
as
your
always, I don't know how I managed to end up with the easy job every week, but I'll take it. No, just two quick things from me, Murph, just by way of feedback. One is facing west when they should have faced east. So knowing your east from your west and figuring that out, particularly which way the nose goes versus the tail goes. So at one point we had two aircraft facing off with each other. So that was interesting, but we figured it out. That's one small thing. And the other small thing was as you kind of alluded to there with Whiskey 2 and Whiskey 1 at Dublin, you need to know your charts, so holding point Alpha 1 was what we were using in Edinburgh. And it's there, it's in your charts, it's the holding point right at the threshold of 0.6, and just knowing where that is, and there's a way to cheat as well and get around it, which is to watch and follow and use your drone cam as to what others before you are doing, because they're getting the exact same instruction. There's only the one taxiway, so seeing where they're stopping is an easy way to cheat and figure out actually where that holding point is if you're not looking at your charts, which you should. So charts, they're really important, and that's kind of why we threw into the mix somewhere new tonight, just so folks can figure it out on the fly. So it's all there in front of us if we just know where to look for it. So that's really it, Murph. Just knowing how to face west or east or north or south, as well as being familiar with the charts and doing a bit of research in advance. So that's all from me, really. Everything else was great.
Awesome. Well done. Great feedback, Gibbo. Great feedback. Rambog, the lads in Bristol, how'd you fare out?
Yeah, I think I had the easier job than Gibbo because Bristol is one taxi away. But it overall went well. There's still some stuff to work on, especially the what is required in a readback and actually doing readbacks. But other than that, Bristol went without a hitch. We did have some technical issues with the platform as well that we need to look into, but it wasn't the end of the world. Just some small issues here and there, but overall it worked out great.
Sweet. And over to Josh, our Dublin approach controller tonight. I'd say now you're probably lying on the floor wondering what happened, but how was your feel for it tonight? Did you enjoy it? How did you go?
It was very different. I don't know if it was server issues or whatever, but I had to adapt to the situation, try not to use vectors, which is something I commonly use on 1.0, so that was a little bit of a challenge. But also there were some pilots that were in conflict when they came into sector. Now that happens in Unicom. Like, we're going to separate you anyway. But it was also adapting to that and adapting to very late calls from pilots, which does happen from time to time. Sometimes, they've stepped away from the keyboard for like 10 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
No, this happens more often than you think.
Thanks.
But it's more like, trying to adapt to those situations and how I can make the best plan. But like, typically I found the pilots were mostly very good.
That's great to hear. Yeah, brilliant. like for sure, we have areas that we're going to work on, for sure. And, but like, I mean, there you have it, guys. Like from a VATSIM controller who looks after approach, by and large, this has been a very successful night. And again, it's giving us a great chance. So this is a shout to both Josh and Adam, and of course to Gibbo Rambog. Like any mistakes or issues that we can detect at this stage really goes a long way for us to provide either, you know, additional training or more information or just more practice on those areas. So yeah, it's Josh, I think the lads will all agree, like you were flat out busy there, and like not having not having the usual control that you would have in terms of the system, definitely an eye-opener. Do you not feel as bad for me now for last week?
It was definitely a challenge. And I'll leave it at that.
Nice. Sweet. Okay, and Adam then at Dublin Tower, as Josh was bringing them all into you, how did you fare out?
Pretty good, all in all. Like, everyone was getting off the runway fairly quickly. Just make sure you know where you're going after vacating. So you don't stop on the stop bar or anything like that. But apart from that, not really anything.
Sweet. Well, lads, thank you all so very, very much indeed. And again, just to recap on everything here tonight, lads, I could hear and I could see those of you who are very comfortable with this, and you know, it doesn't fathom you at all. And the polar opposite, I could see and hear those who are challenged by this. And regardless of how you think you did or how good you were or how bad you were, and I mean this, and you need to listen now because I'm talking, right? Regardless of how you feel, the reality is this: you've managed to fly from an airport to an airport with ATC, right? You've managed to do it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, you've done it. You've jumped in head first, you've taken the steps, you've taken on that, I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? That in itself is very commendable. And the fact, if we can get some sort of feedback to say, you need to tweak this, you need to tweak that, where else were you going to get that? So that's great. We now have something to work with. Do you know what I mean? So it's brilliant. Great effort by everyone this evening. For a lot of pilots, like I'm just jaw on the ground how good and fast you're moving towards this. And for the pilots now that we know we need to spend a little bit of work on, this is a great opportunity now to focus on these areas. Great. Where else would you get the kind of the one-to-one to say, this is exactly what you need to work on next? And we'll work with you to do that. Do you know what I mean? So brilliant stuff. Huge thanks to our ATC crew tonight. We had Gibbo, Rambog, we had Josh, and we had Adam. Lads, thank you very, very much indeed for everyone taking part in the flying. Lads, it's very, very commendable. Well done. It's definitely another tick in the box, and you're progressing. We're all moving forward, regardless if you think you had like the worst night ever. Don't worry, it'll get better. All right. And then to everyone who tuned in, lads, thank you also very, very much indeed for joining us here on YouTube and on Twitch. And well, we're back to you this coming Wednesday for the news, and we continue on our Bremen flight this coming Friday. And well, sure, it's all go. And then next Monday, we're going to have even more IFR stuff. And keep an eye out on Discord, ! Discord brings you to our Discord. Keep an eye there. That's where we're going to start giving a bit of feedback to the pilots. I'll do so privately for those who need it. And if not, we'll put out some kind of general points of what to work on next. So from me to you, thank you all so very much. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Right. Murph, can you say foot golf faster? Foot golf. No! Gibbo, I can't! That's a try. Right here. Ease up, Sharon. Oh, Jesus.